Good morning, everyone. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. My name's Brian Craig, and this is the longest-running radio show in all of the Sunshine State of Florida here, and we take your calls, talk about the news of the day. This is our top-of-the-hour break for the top of the show.
Save 30% off your MyPillow mattress topper and receive 2 free MyPillows, but you got to use the promo code Kane.
That's right.
K-A-N-E. 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper. Turn your old mattress into a big MyPillow mattress. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. Have you gone without insurance through the Affordable Care Act because you thought you couldn't afford it? The times are changing. I have exciting news to share with you from I Will Advisors. With the signing of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, the government has increased the subsidies available to people buying insurance through the marketplace.
Yes.
Even people making over 400% of the federal poverty level.
Good morning to everyone. Hey, everybody in the chat room, make sure you like the video and share it. Like and share. Liking's the most important thing you can do after you're subscribed, of course. Well, thank you. Yeah, my wife helps with these shirts. There's in the description here, there is a link to all my different links and sites I have, including my merch store where you can buy all these t-shirts. My Linktree link. Well, thank you, B Crypto. Liked and shared on Gab. Thank you, guys. Oh, by the way, one of the things I'm going to talk about today is Dan Bongino's radio debut. So if you have any thoughts on that, make sure you call in, too. All right, here we go. Showtime. And I'm wearing my MyPillow slippers. Hey, they say MyPillow right on the bottom. Hey. Yes. Welcome, everyone. It's Tuesday morning already. Can you believe it? The 25th day of May, 2021. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. Flow Right is the longest-running radio show. I'm broadcasting in my MyPillow slippers that I'm wearing today to work again. Welcome, everyone. We got a lot to talk about today. President Trump made some huge announcements yesterday. Very little reporting on this because they're trying to give you a news blackout on President Trump. But President Trump made some huge announcements yesterday. We're going to get into that. And also, I did listen to Dan Bongino's radio show yesterday. I listened to the first hour, and then I listened to the interview with President Trump, and then I didn't listen to the rest. But we'll talk about that on the program today as well, and I would very much like to hear from you all out in the listening audience. Your thoughts, your reviews, your reactions to Dan Bongino's new radio show, and also we got a lot to talk about. These are just a couple of things. Another thing we're going to talk about is the third attack on Senator Rand Paul. Okay, Rand Paul attacked again. But let me, without getting into the nitty-gritty details of it, let me tell you the breaking major bombshells that President Trump dropped yesterday, because I don't want to keep people hanging for that, but we'll talk about it in more detail later. And this was picked up by me. There were two things President Trump did yesterday, both with Bongino. There was the very, very brief interview in the second hour of Dan Bongino's radio show, and then the Fox Nation interview with President Trump. And President Trump, this is absolutely amazing. I'll get into more detail as the show goes on, but I want to get it out there early on, just the capsulized version of it. One, those of us, which I think is all of us, who thought that his new platform to the world was going to be from the desk of President Trump, donaldjtrump.com/desk. That is not true. President Trump and his team, this just broke. This is huge. President Trump and his team are still working on his social media platform. And President Trump had said that his website from the desk of Donald Trump is just temporary while they're working out all the details of his new social media platform that is about to launch. That is massive, people. That is massive, because it is still in the works. I know, isn't that exciting? I mean, that's, and President Trump had said that he's been taking, he was taking a break from the news so people could see how bad things are going with Biden, that he didn't want to become the focus. He wanted what Biden was doing to become the focus. And, all these lefty liberals out there who think Trump has an out-of-control ego, nothing could be further from the truth. He has a public persona that he uses for the Trump brand, but he's a very patient person. He is not consumed with ego like they think he is. They still can't figure this guy out after all these years since he came down the escalator. And, I filled my car up today at Wawa over here in Deerfield, over by Hillsborough and 95, stopped off in the Ghetto to get gas this morning. It cost me just under $46 to fill up my car. I filled that car up on President Trump's last day in office. It was less than $40. I don't remember the exact price, but it was like $37, $38. Now it's, almost $50 to fill up a tank of gas that costs less than $40 to fill up. Just a couple months back, the last day that President Trump, I filled up before I went to Mar-a-Lago. $1.99 a gallon I paid that day. So great job, Biden. Great job. And this is what President Trump was talking about yesterday. He understands now he is, what he's doing now is he's reintroducing himself to society. And what he was talking about yesterday in these interviews is how he is now going to become a part of the daily media dialogue in this country. This is the beginning of it. It'll probably start to really happen after the first rally next month. But President Trump has been sitting back patiently so that we could see what the media would do. They desperately want distractions from Biden because he's a failure. So if Trump had been out there these last few months, excuse me, they would consume themselves with him so that they could use it as cover in the mainstream media as to what a disaster Joe Biden is. And I saw stories not just nationally, but I was watching the local television news in Palm Beach last night, and it was and this was, I saw Charles Payne do a segment on it. Then I switched over to the local news. They did a huge section on it, interviewing local business people about the inflation that is going on with all of the basic staples that we need, food. And we are entering a massive inflationary period because of the failures of Joe Biden. And this is going to start to hit people real quick, especially when it comes to food, because restaurants, steak, things like this, bacon, going through the roof. Restaurants that are lucky to even be open today in many parts of this country, what are they going to do, raise their prices now? They may have to. And, small businesses can't take too much more of a hit than they've already taken. So President Trump, his new social media platform is not from the desk of Donald Trump, which we thought it was. That is still in the works. Isn't that amazing? And that means we have a new social media platform separate from Parler and Frank Speech with the great Mike Lindell. So this is an amazing announcement. Also, all this talk about the Wuhan lab, this is a very strange thing, because President Trump, when he was still in office, was talking about this. And this fake Asian hate crime narrative that has begun started because he started talking about what came out of China with the virus. And that's when this Kung Flu thing started. And remember, the one reporter in the White House press pool was Asian American, who's an immigrant from China, now U.S. citizen, was giving him a hard time about that all the time and everything. And now what President Trump told us, well, at least a year ago, maybe longer, is now being reported by mainstream liberal news outlets. I watched Lester Holt last night. They're talking about it on Lester Holt on NBC Nightly News. So what's changed here? What's changed here? Why is that being discussed all of a sudden in the mainstream news? And President Trump, when he was on with Bongino, confirmed this, because Dan Bongino, during his introduction of President Trump, used allegedly when referring to the lab, and President Trump said, I think you can take allegedly off of that, because I think it happened that way. And this is the thing you got to understand with President Trump. This is not the host of The Apprentice or the Celebrity Apprentice. This is the 45th President of the United States, who still receives security briefings, still has access to classified data, and during his first term had access to everything at a moment's notice. So when President Trump says something like that to Dan Bongino, that's not just some pundit mouthing off. That's the 45th President of the United States giving you the information that he's been given as the 45th President of the United States from intelligence agencies and others. So, this was just a huge bombshell of information dropped by President Trump yesterday. And we're going to see real quick President Trump again beginning to command the media narrative. I think it's going to start with the rallies. I was talking about this yesterday with Steve. I know he's talking about 4 rallies now, the 4th of which will be on the 4th of July. I think real quick, the rallies are going to become a weekly thing. They're going to become a weekly thing. And I really do. And if I were President Trump, now President Trump, he knows all about media. He knows how to manipulate media, use media, and all this stuff. He knows more than I'll ever know, right? He's forgotten more than I'll ever know about how to handle the media. But my hope would be this, is that he would have his rallies weekly at the same time. Like every Saturday at 5 or 6 or something. Just you give an example. And what will happen with these rallies, because I know he's going to start doing them weekly. I have no doubt in my mind at some point, soon after the 4th one, there'll be more announced and it'll become a weekly event. And what will happen with these rallies of President Trump's is people will be waiting for the rally every week so they can hear what President Trump has to say about the news affecting us that particular week. And the news cycle is pretty fast, right? Like the border, or the situation with Israel under attack. Whatever the issue is that week. This week, excuse me, there's a lot of talk about the inflation. So whatever the big issues are in that particular week, we'll be waiting for him to come out at the rally and give us his take on all of them. And if he did it, I say Saturday at 5, Saturday at 6, that's a slow time for the news programming, right? And it would become like having his own television show every week. You understand what I mean? If the rallies were every Saturday at 6 or every Saturday at 5, I know that I would make sure that I was home every Saturday at that time to watch it in front of my television set. Back to our fireside chat, our fireside rally chat with President Trump. If you get that reference. If you don't get that reference, you're probably a snowflake millennial. And that would be amazing. That would be amazing. So we are not far away from President Trump commanding the media narrative yet again. See, one of the things that made Trump so successful in his first campaign and in his first term was that he has the ability to set what the media narrative is. No Republican has ever been able to do this before, and they think by taking him down off the social media platforms he can no longer do that. Well, I'm here to tell you, with the rallies, he will do it. Now, the media will try not to cover them. They'll try to silence him. They'll try to act like they're not events, but they're not going to be able to do that. It's a freight train. The Trump train's a freight train at a very high speed, okay? It's Snowpiercer times 1,000, and they're not going to be able to stop the Trump train once it starts every week, commenting on all the issues going on. All right, we're going to take our first break of the day. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. How many of you listened to Dan Bongino's debut nationally syndicated radio show yesterday? I listened to the first hour, and I listened to into the second hour until Trump was gone. But I would very much like to hear your thoughts on the first Dan Bongino radio show yesterday. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE1. That's Kane and the number 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take our first break of the day and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are State of Florida certified roofing and general contractors, focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will...
Oh, the Snowpiercer reference? I've been watching the Snowpiercer television show, which isn't that bad, actually.
To complete new roof systems, we install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Hurricane season is right around the corner. This gives us only a short period of time to make sure your roof and home is ready for the 2021 hurricane season. So don't delay and call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Our website is www.laportacontracting.com, where you will find our latest video and live testimonials from a few of our past clients. Our number again is 954-604-4602.
Did you know that 2 out of 5 Americans suffer from some kind of allergy? So it's likely that fatigue, runny nose, headaches, intestinal problems, and a general lousy feeling can be connected to an allergy. Any lab test now of Boca Raton offer allergy tests that can detect over 125 airborne, food, and environmental allergens. Allergy testing is quick, easy, and painless. Results can be shared with your physician or an allergist. No doctor's order or prescription is necessary. No appointment either. Just walk right in. Any lab test now of Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side.
Big C. Oh, what's B? Is Big C in here trying to use my clout to prop himself up again?
561-237-5009. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton. Make sure you tell
My allergies. No, I'm having allergy problems. Hey guys, welcome. 21 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. So, Rand Paul, Rand Paul has been attacked for a third time. What is it what is their beef with Rand Paul? This is the latest. Now, if you remember, he was first attacked by his liberal Democrat neighbor who broke his ribs and collapsed Rand Paul's lung. At least one of his lungs, and it was pretty rough. That was a brutal attack. That guy should be in prison for 20 years. He targeted and attacked a sitting United States senator. He was given a slap on the wrist because he attacked a Republican. And then, if you remember, was it the Republican convention acceptance speech night at the White House? Rand Paul and his wife left the White House and were surrounded by a mob of Antifa. Remember that? Oh my goodness. And the police had a hard time even getting Rand Paul and his wife to safety. They were overwhelmed, the police. And now this, the FBI has launched an investigation into a suspicious package containing a white powder and a threatening letter that was sent to United States Senator Rand Paul just a day after Richard Marks praised the man who assaulted the senator from Kentucky in 2017. Richard Marks, I never liked Richard Marks. What were he had 2 big songs. Can you call it, what were his big songs? He was kind of a ballad guy. I never liked Richard Marks. And my wife had reminded me that he married MTV VJs, married to Daisy Fuentes, which is, that's a strange mix-max. But a few years back, I was up in Stuart, Florida, which is a very conservative MAGA town here in Florida, but a small town at that, not too far from, it's up where Dan Bongino lives. It's in his neck of the woods. And I drove by a dive bar, this little tiny local dive bar, and Richard Marks, they had a sign up, was playing there. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, yeah, so let me get back to this. Rand Paul, I don't get the left. You know why? Because he's a doctor and he has credibility and he makes Fauci look like what he is. The package which arrived at Rand Paul's home also contained a doctored image of the Republican who was seen heavily bandaged and walking with the aid of a crutch as a rifle appears aimed at his head. Oh my goodness. And the package had a letter inside. It says, "I'll finish what your neighbor started, you mother blanker." The message on the package reads, news of the threat was first reported by Fox News. The photoshopped image to the package was a doctored photo illustration of Rand Paul that was created by GQ magazine as part of a 2017 story on the assault that left the Republican senator badly injured. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty scary stuff. Remember, in 2017, Rand Paul suffered 6 broken ribs after one of his neighbors assaulted him while Rand Paul was doing yard work. And I was surprised that Rand Paul was mowing his lawn in front of his mansion. That guy pleaded guilty to assaulting a member of Congress, and he was sentenced to 8 months in prison. He should have been sentenced to 20 years. Rand Paul on Monday said, "I take these threats immensely seriously. I have been the target multiple times now. It is reprehensible that Twitter allows C-list celebrities," that's Richard Marx, "to advocate for violence against me and my family. This must stop." Just this weekend, Richard Marx called for violence. I can't remember his songs. "Don't Mean Nothing," that's one of them. Richard Marx, "Don't Mean Nothing." What was his other big song? That just popped in my head. And now I've got the song playing in my head. I hate that song. "Don't Mean Nothing." Just this weekend, Richard Marx called violence against me, Rand Paul says, and now we receive this despicable powder-filled letter. Richard Marx, the rock star and 1980s era hitmaker, tweeted on Sunday, "I'll say it again, if I ever meet Rand Paul's neighbor, I'm going to hug him and buy him as many drinks as he can consume." Marx went on to claim that he was simply joking, saying it was a wise crack not meant to be an incitement to violence, but then violence happened. Richard Marx was criticized by Eric Bolling, who demanded the FBI investigate Richard Marx. Playing at a dive bar near you. Richard Marx's comments about Rand Paul's neighbor were in response to an interview in which the senator said that he has no plans to get the vaccine because he's already been infected with and recovered from the disease. Remember, Rand Paul is a doctor. He's an ophthalmologist, which means he's a very well-educated specialist as an ophthalmologist. So when Rand Paul gives an opinion on any of these things involving COVID and it's an educated opinion. He's not, I'm not an educated medical professional. Very few of you are. He's a doctor. And what they don't like about him, they don't like a lot of things about Rand Paul. He's Marjorie Taylor Greene type. He stands up, like Trump. They don't like that. But because he has the credibility of being a medical doctor, believe me, he's treated patients much more recently than Fauci. They don't like that he goes up against Fauci and challenges Fauci on all these things because he has the credibility of being a medical doctor himself. All right, 26 minutes after the hour. Our number, toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's K-A-N-E and the number 1, 888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Maria from Florida.
Hey, Maria in Florida. What's on your mind?
Yes. Yesterday I came across that picture of Ron Paul, and I was like, oh my God.
No, Ron Paul's his father. Rand, R-A-D, like Ayn Rand. He's Rand. Yeah, the father's Ron.
I'm sorry, but I seen that and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, this guy been attacked so many times, but I think now it's time for the FBI to put on these big boots and their hat and get to work, because if something happened to this guy, it's
well, that first attack, his Democrat neighbor attacked him while he was mowing his lawn in Kentucky. He almost killed Rand Paul. Almost killed him. It was a brutal attack. and then the Antifa mob in front of the White House when he was with his wife, and now this. And I know they keep pointing to the Capitol breach. Our people didn't hurt anyone at the Capitol breach. Didn't kill any. This guy, is attacked over and over again, and the media and the liberals brush it aside because they don't like Rand Paul and they think he brings these things upon himself, is what they tell themselves.
Yeah, they're convinced that. To me, they're convinced, and I've been convinced of this for a while now. That they convinced themselves that liberal is everything and the Republicans is just evil. And I hear people, including in my family, say the same things when I look at them. I say, you in a university by yourself. This is crazy. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Rand Paul, the thing they really don't like about Rand Paul is that he's got the credibility of a medical doctor and he's challenging Fauci all the time. They really don't like that. But liberals are this way. I had a Democrat try to kill me, literally try to get me killed at a political protest. There was a political protest in downtown Fort Lauderdale in front of the federal courthouse, and a Democrat. It was during rush hour afternoon traffic during the week. A Democrat took their forearm, pushed me in front of oncoming traffic during rush hour, laughing while they did it. And I barely caught myself before I went in front of a moving car that would have hit me. And they thought it was funny that they tried to kill me, and they thought I deserved to die, I guess, because I'm a conservative guy. And that's how liberals are evil people.
Yeah, they are. They really are. And
yeah.
People think that they good people and do things. And I was just with my sister yesterday,
and that incident, by the way, I talked about that many times since it's happened, including the day after it happened. People, I go to Trump events, but I don't go to local events that have Democrats at them because of that. I was assaulted by. What happens is a Democrat will recognize me from the radio, and I've been attacked a couple of times. That was the most deadly. But I've been physically attacked too by Democrats. They'll recognize me from the radio, and then they start pointing to me like the remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland, when they point at people and go, ah, and then I get attacked, and it's pretty. What happened to you? You said something happened to you yesterday?
Yeah, when I went to my sister's house, she turned on the TV and she was, looking at the regular news, and I was talking to her, but I didn't want to get involved with the news because I don't watch them. And so she went to talking about Donald Trump, and I said, you know what, just change the subject because you don't want to hear my input about that.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I told her, I said, at the end of the day, Donald Trump's still my president. She racist. I said, yeah.
Racist? What's racist about it?
Because she doesn't like Republicans.
Yeah, but the Biden's white, so I think I think maybe she thinks everything's racist as a way to try to shut people down. She just says it's racist to try to shut people down from discussing it. Yeah, pretty much. But she was trying in so many ways praise Joe Biden. I said, you know what, y'all unleashed the devil on this nation, and you're going to pay a price for that. Well, she said it's racist. Donald Trump is responsible for the highest rate of black employment since the end of slavery. Back in the slavery days, there was 100% employment in the form of slavery, right? But the highest percentage of the American black population was employed under President Trump. That's an amazing. So I don't know why they think he is racist. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, they think that because they think they're in a university by themselves. It's like, you know how you win something and you want something so bad and you can't see no other way out. You just have to go with what you was told.
Mm-hmm.
With this thing, their mind been highly indoctrinated in this situation with staying Democrat. They don't believe leaving a Democrat, and they're never gonna leave them. And like I told her, I said, you might be my older sister, but at the end of the day, you're kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Looking at what's really going on in the world.
Well, what it is she's brainwashed. She's stuck on the Democrat plantation.
Yeah.
And it's hard to escape. It's hard to escape. And that's the way it is. All right, Marie, thanks for the call. Always a great call with great comments. All right, it is 32 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Am I the only one in this listening audience that heard Dan Bongino's radio debut yesterday? I'd like to hear your thoughts on Dan Bongino's radio show yesterday. It was his debut, and I was expecting to hear from some people. Am I the only person in this audience who heard Dan Bongino's show yesterday? I want to hear from you and what your opinion of his debut radio show is. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's K-A-N-E and the number 1, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. We'll break and be right back.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Brian Craig here.
Be right back, guys.
For years, how great
Bathroom break.
MyPillow products are. But don't just take my word for it. This is one of our listeners, Todd. He bought the MyPillow mattress topper, and he called us live on the radio to tell us about his experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Yeah, I'm calling you testimonial about my pillow topper.
You ordered the MyPillow, the mattress topper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, I was thinking about buying a new mattress. My old mattress was getting old, so my wife's like, "Why don't you try that pillow, that mattress topper?" So I went on. I used your promo code Kane. I got great price. Got it home, and I've been using it for the last 3 nights. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like a whole new mattress.
I talked to other listeners with the MyPillow mattress topper, and they come in all sizes. The mattress companies have turned into con artists. When I was a kid, mattresses were two-sided. You'd have the mattress, then after a while you'd flip it over. Now you can't flip mattresses anymore. They don't make them that way anymore because people weren't buying mattresses enough. So the mattress company stopped making two-sided mattresses, and mattresses are expensive. I've had to buy a new mattress, and mattresses can cost well over, just for a regular normal mattress, over $1,000. So that MyPillow mattress topper is a big savings. It saves you from buying a new mattress and turn your whole bed into a MyPillow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I really love it. I sleep really good.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate that. You guys out there, remember, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. Now, when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, save 30% off your MyPillow mattress topper and receive 2 free MyPillows. But you got to use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper. Turn your old mattress into a big MyPillow mattress. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back. It appears that no one in this listening audience other than me tuned in to Dan Bongino's radio debut yesterday. My goodness. I'll give it a little more time before I share my thoughts. I know Steve heard some of it, too, so we'll talk about that later. But also, I want to throw this out. There's a slander going around about Marjorie Taylor Greene that she made an anti-Semitic comment about Jewish space lasers. And I put out a call yesterday, and here we are 24 years, might as well be. It'll take that long because it didn't happen. But we're 24 hours later, and I still have not gotten a call from a liberal that could share with me the audio of Marjorie Taylor Greene saying Jewish space lasers. I've been waiting for that call. But 1-888-GO-KANE-1 is our number, 1-888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Good morning, Jim in Cincinnati.
Hey, Jim, what's up?
I don't know. It comes off like you don't like Dan, and I don't understand that.
What did I say that makes you say I didn't like Dan Bongino?
Well, I don't know. It's just a feeling I get from listening to you daily.
I have no beef with Dan Bongino, and I like Dan Bongino a lot. Did you hear his radio show yesterday?
I did not. I was not able to. I was working.
Oh, I listened to it. I'm trying to get some feedback from the listening audience about it.
There there's a lot of people in your audience that did listen to it, that did like it.
Well, how do you know? They haven't called me. I'm waiting for a call from somebody that heard the show.
I was reading your chat when you were taking...
Well, this is a call-in radio show, not an online chat. So if you heard Dan Bongino's show yesterday, liked it or not, I want to hear from you all, the talk radio audience, about it. No, I like Dan Bongino. I've got no beef with him. What have I said? In fact, what have I said that makes you think I got a beef with Dan Bongino? I like Dan Bongino. I think he's awesome.
Okay, well, that's what I wanted. I was looking to hear that. I wanted to find out your opinion one way or the other.
Well, I haven't given my opinion on his radio show. No. I'm talking about him personally. I haven't given my review of his radio show, but I'm telling you, I like him a lot, Dan Bongino. I don't want my review of his radio show to influence anyone in this audience, giving their review.
It kind of does. I mean, like I said, I think Dan's a patriot. He's been a patriot. And let me finish. I've never heard you address him in a positive manner. It's always been a skeptical, always got a little podcast.
I never said he's got a little podcast. I've never said that. You're putting words. I've never said he has a little podcast. He does have a podcast.
You've inferred, hey, Brian, you've heard it. And I listened. I've got intelligence.
No, excuse me. I never said he's got a little podcast. I never said that. Inferred? No, I have not.
Okay.
His podcast is one of the top conservative podcasts in America. I've never said that. It's an interesting thing.
The ones that listen to him know that. And I was just calling because I was listening to you infer other things. And I have been for a while. And sorry, it's an opinion that differs from yours. And I can understand why you get upset.
No. Upset about what? What am I upset about?
When you get upset, you don't let people talk. You talk over them.
Tell me what you think I'm upset about.
I just don't have the time for you to talk over me and to run your mouth over what I'm saying and dilute what I've got.
I'm not diluting anything. You say that I'm upset and I don't like Dan Bongino. Neither of these things are true. Oh, he hung up. See, this is what you're dealing with. He hung up. I like Dan Bongino. I'm not saying anything negative about Dan Bongino or his radio show. And I'm not upset. When I'm upset, you know it. I tell you guys. There's no doubt about it. Now, President Trump, yesterday was just a big day for President Trump. Listen to this. President Donald Trump angrily rejected reports that social media bans had sent him sliding into irrelevance, insisting Monday that he was staying out of the headlines so attention would stay on President Joe Biden's troubles with inflation, the border, and the Middle East. His comments, President Trump's, come as lieutenants plan a new social media platform to propel Trump back into the daily conversations. But in a statement published on his website, Trump hit back at media reports that his online presence was no longer making an impact. What Washington Post and other members of the fake news media don't report, this is the president talking, President Trump, is that Joe Biden is of no interest to anybody. That's right. 21 million less watched his joint address to Congress than watched mine, Trump said. President Trump had more than 80 million Twitter followers, sending his every utterance viral before he was deplatformed in the wake of the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol, which he had nothing to do with, by the way. Nothing to do with. That's right. So, and his staff came out yesterday and said that there is a new social media platform coming from Donald Trump. There is a new social media platform coming from him, which is awesome. I did learn something about that I did not know, and a listener, I don't know everything, which is who can know everything, right? A listener messaged me about Parler and Dan Bongino, and then I looked this up. Bongino is no longer involved in Parler, which I did not know. Did you guys know this? I did not know this. And there's a lawsuit going on with the past CEO of Parler. Listen to this. This is now. This is from a liberal news source. I apologize, but this is the story that came up when I searched this. But I got a listener left a comment on one of my YouTube videos that Dan Bongino was no longer involved in Parler, which I did not know. And left-wing Salon. This is the phrasing and everything. You got to understand. This is from Salon, very left-wing outlet here. These are not my words. Pro-Trump pundit, conservative media tycoon, and self-proclaimed Parler investor Dan Bongino was apparently tricked into being promised shares of Parler by investor and conservative mega donor Rebecca Mercer, according to former Parler CEO John. How does this guy say his name? Mattez, M-A-T, Matt. I'm not sure how he says his name, but you know the guy that left. The allegation is within a new lawsuit. So this is in the court documents, claiming that Dan Bongino and Mercer used bullying and intimidation to take away his shares in Parler when they ousted him. So this is interesting. So they're saying, now this is the guy who's suing, so I don't know. But I did hear Dan Bongino say a couple months ago on his podcast that he had not, at the time, this was a couple months ago, I was listening to his podcast, and he had said that he had not earned any money yet. He had not been paid one dime by Parler yet, which was interesting. I thought, well, he must just have shares. And in this lawsuit, it's saying that he was promised shares that he never received. And then I got this comment on YouTube from a listener who said that he's totally done with Parler. Is that true? Is he no longer? And and I wonder, because Candace Owens' husband is now running Parler, which means Candace Owens is running Parler. Is Dan Bongino still involved with Parler? Is he out? And what does this do about his relationship with Candace Owens and everything? A lot of things going on here. The MAGA world needs to unite as one. So I'm just trying to find out what's going on. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Good morning.
Yeah, what's your name?
Ari from New Jersey.
Hey, New Jersey. You're on the radio. What's on your mind?
Good morning. I'm wondering about that. About John Mates, by the way.
Mates? Is that how you say his name? Mates? Okay.
Yep. I thought he had some mental issues and he wasn't stable. I didn't like him that much because ever since January 6th, he looked really, really scared on TV. And I didn't really like him that much because...
Who don't you like? Who do you not like?
John Mates.
Oh, the guy that used to be the head of Parler. Okay.
He wasn't. And that was Mark. Right after that, it was Mark Meckler, and I don't know why they fired him. He was a great guy, by the way. And then now it's George Farmer.
Well, that's Mr. Candace Owens to you. Candace Owens' husband is the new CEO of Parler. Well, here's a question. I asked this question. I don't know if I asked this on the radio. I asked this on the podcast, on my podcast last week. Might have asked this on the radio. I'm not sure. But Parler's back in the Apple App Store. I don't know if they're in the Google Play Store yet, because I'm an Apple guy. But if they will be soon if they're not. But to get back in the App Store, Parler had to agree to a bunch of conditions put out by big tech. And this is the question I've asked, and I haven't heard anybody in media ask this. And I don't know that this is true. I'm just asking the question, and I think this is an important question to ask Mr. Candace Owens and others, because I think inquiring minds would like to know an answer to this question. The conditions that Parler had to make to big tech to get back in the App Store was one of the conditions not allowing President Trump to join the platform.
My question also.
It's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think that...
we don't know. I'm not saying that that's true. But I think it's a fair question because, they don't want Trump on social media, these people.
Is Candace on Facebook, by the way?
Who?
Candace Owens.
I don't know. I follow her on Twitter and Parler. I don't know. I'm assuming she's on Facebook.
Because then, if everybody would like to...
message her? Well, I mean, people could ask her on Twitter and tag her, and ask and tag her on Parler too. I'm not saying that that's true. I'm not knocking Parler. I'm on Parler. I have no beef with Parler, but we know they had to make a lot of concessions to the big tech people, and I think that's an important question because Trump still is not there.
Yeah, I think Trump didn't want to be on Parler originally.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But maybe he's changed his mind. I don't know. And I didn't know that Dan Bongino had separated from Parler, and that explains why he didn't bring it up to President Trump during the interview yesterday, because I was waiting. That was not knowing that Bongino's no longer with Parler, at least according to what I'm hearing. I was expecting him to ask President Trump, when are you going to join Parler? And I didn't hear it, and I was like, it's interesting, and now I'm getting this new information.
This new radio show with Bongino is the Rush takeover?
No, it's not the EIB network. It's separate. Did you hear the show yesterday?
No. Is it the one that he was on Rush Limbaugh?
No. He's being syndicated not by the EIB network. He's being syndicated by a big syndicator, Westwood One, and many stations that carried Rush are carrying him in that time slot, but he is not the official Rush replacement.
By the way, I think you can find that show on Spotify.
Okay. Well, this is what I find that's shocking to me. I've been on the air for 48 minutes. This is talk radio, right? The audience that's listening to me is a talk radio audience, and everyone I've talked to this morning says they didn't hear Dan Bongino's first radio show. That's shocking to me. I was not expecting that. I was expecting to hear people calling in telling me about it.
Workers. We're all workers. That's why we can't...
Rush Limbaugh was number one, and he was on at the same time. No, it's not the time slot. I'm just strange.
I always listen to Rush, and when I get home, I listen to Rush, and I listen to.
Yeah, but this is unusual. This is very unusual. When I remember when Air America went on the air, which was like 03, 04, something like that. It was on briefly, the liberal radio network. I was getting calls like crazy about Al Franken, who was on, I don't remember if Al Franken was on, I think it was on 9 to noon, Al Franken, before Rush. And I would get calls about Air America all the time. Janine Garofalo was over there, and Rachel Maddow was even on over at Air America. And I'm just a little surprised that everyone I've talked to this morning didn't catch the show. I went out of my way to listen to it yesterday. So I don't know what's going on with that. All right, hey, listen, thanks for the call. It's 10 minutes before 7. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll take our break and be right back after this. Do not go anywhere.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are State of Florida certified roofing and general contractors, focusing on residential and commercial roofing. impact windows, and building restoration. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Hurricane season is right around the corner. This gives us only a short period of time to make sure your roof and home is ready for the 2021 hurricane season. So don't delay and call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Our website is www.laportacontracting.com, where you will find our latest video and live testimonials from a few of our past clients. Our number again is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right. 8 before 7, I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. You know, I'm wearing my My slippers this morning. These slippers are out of this world great. You know, they're 40% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. They would make a great Father's Day gift, I'm here to tell you. I was telling you guys yesterday I have a bad blister from a new pair of shoes on the back of my right foot, and it's a pretty bad one. And I've been wearing these My slippers now for an entire day. And they were on my feet all day yesterday. They are so comfortable, I can't even tell I have a blister on my foot. They are so comfortable and so perfect. And they're more than just a slipper. They're a shoe. They're made for indoor and outdoor all-day wear. Yeah, so 40% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com. They make a great gift for Father's Day. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hello, this is George, Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, George.
I did try to listen to Dan Bongino's show, and a couple of things happened. And if I may mention, it's WFTL around here. At 12 noon, I thought it was going to be the whole time slot. In other words, Rush used to be on 12 noon to 3 p.m. But at 12 noon, there was a lady on who sounded familiar to me. She was a good hostess, but it was not Dan Bongino. And then at 2 p.m., I did catch Dan Bongino, and then there was the, in my opinion, all too brief interview with President Trump. And there was, and I love Dan Bongino and so forth, but there was some clumsiness in interview technique.
Okay, before the interview, okay, how much of the show did you listen to yesterday? Did you just listen to the interview with President Trump, or did you listen to get a good chunk in?
I don't know. It's like in between that answer is I got some of the show with Dan Bongino, and before the interview, as I said, it was a lady, and
yeah, it was Joyce Kaufman. It was Joyce Kaufman. They actually carry the show on tape delay, which was very strange. They started the show at 1 instead of noon over there. So, and that's where I listened to it, by the way. So I listened to it an hour behind the, I guess, others that were listening to it. Well, what is your opinion of what you heard?
Well, the content was fine, but the technique, was left something to be desired. There was too much interruption of Trump, and Dan was obviously quite nervous, and so forth. So it was not smooth. Now, this, I'm sure, could be remedied and within time, but well, it just goes to show there is no Rush Limbaugh.
Well, that was Dan. You know, Dan Bongino's been doing his podcast for a few years. This was his debut as a talk radio host, and they are two different formats. You know, I've been podcasting for 8 or 9 years now, and podcasting is much different than radio, and it's a different format. So, did you hear him yesterday without President Trump on, like when he was just by himself?
A little bit.
And what's your thoughts on what you heard there?
Same thing again. There is some clumsiness there, and which I attributed to nervousness.
Yeah.
So yesterday, unfortunately, I went to I'll give you my life story, to the dentist, and it was right in the middle of all of it.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So you're, to sum it up, you say clumsy and nervous.
That's my impression, yes.
Okay. All right. We'll give it another listen and let me know. Okay. Take care. Thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hey, it's Mike in Boca.
Hey, Mike. What's up?
I did not listen to Don Bongino yesterday. I'm sorry, Dan Bongino.
Who's Don Bongino? Is that his brother, Donald?
It's Donnie. I did not listen to Dan. I was kind of, yesterday was my day off, so I was kind of busy doing stuff, and I didn't realize until after 3 o'clock that yesterday was his first day. But I did hear a little bit. He posted some on Twitter, about a minute long, of the Trump interview, and it was the part where he asked him about running again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably listen to it later today or tomorrow. Today I'll definitely listen to it.
Well, I'm just surprised that I'm on the air almost an hour, and I've only gotten, other than myself, only one person has called me who heard any of it, and I really, that's caught me off guard a little bit. I was expecting a huge chunk of you to have tuned it in. It's the first show. It's the debut show.
Well, Brian, you did such a good job for 3 hours. People are like, they got their picks for the day.
I guess.
Russia's been out for, he passed away, so people got to start getting back on that dial at 12 o'clock and listening to,
Well, when you listen to the show, I look forward to hearing your review of the show.
Richard Marx, Children of the Night. That was fun.
I don't remember that one. I got that can't do nothing crap going on in my mind. I hate Richard Marx. I never liked Richard Marx.
Children of the Night, because I was in high school. We were in high school during the time. And it was a big.
Children of the Night. I don't remember that song. Can you give me the melody? How's it sound? I don't remember that song.
It was about the children. No, I'm not going to do that now.
No, I'm certainly not going to do it.
It was about runaways, and it was about the Knight Foundation. Helps runaways and sex trafficking. And it was a big hit in my school and down here because at the time, apparently, allegedly, Fort Lauderdale, like the beach area, had a big problem with runaways.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it was on WSPN, it was on all the local, they were like.
I never, when Richard Marx was like a big deal, and he would come on the radio, I'd change the station. I never liked Richard Marx's music. Never liked it.
I just remember his first.
Oh yeah, right there. Okay, somebody just told me that. Right There Waiting for You. Now I got that song in my head. I got 2 Richard Marx songs in my head now. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, that song is in my head now. Yes. I never was. I just was in high school, like his first album, and after that, it wasn't really. It was all like power ballads. It was, kind of slow.
Yeah. Well, he made, he made a big mistake because he tweeted out this terrible thing about Senator Rand Paul, and then that very day there's an attack on Rand Paul. Bad timing, Richard Marx, for your attempted publicity stunt.
That's not the first time either, because
third attack.
Yeah, a couple of years ago I didn't know it, but he's a flaming liberal.
Well, Richard Marx is married to Daisy Fuentes, who was an MTV VJ. And she's Cuban, but she's Latina. She probably has Richard Marx all into all this amnesty and open border business because she probably connects to the Hispanic people at the southern border. His wife, Daisy Fuentes. Whatever happened to Daisy Fuentes? She used to be a big deal.
So you said her name. I forgot all about it. I was like, oh yeah, she was
I forgot about her too, and I was talking about Richard Marx, this terrible tweet about Rand Paul to my wife, and my wife said, "Yeah, he's married to Daisy Fuentes." I'm like, oh my goodness, yeah.
I wasn't watching MTV at the time when she was on there, so I don't remember what year she was on there. I don't even know.
Yeah, her claim. I always liked her. I got nothing against Daisy Fuentes, but you know. No. All right, take care. Appreciate the call, Mike and Boca. All right, so one person so far, two other than me, tuned in to Dan Bongino's first radio show. All right, listen, we'll take our break for the top of the hour. We're a minute late. It's 1 minute after 7. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be back right after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Have you gone without insurance through the Affordable Care Act because you thought you couldn't afford it? The times are changing. I have exciting news to share with you from I Will Advisors. With the signing of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, the government has increased the subsidies available to people buying insurance through the marketplace. In fact, even people making over 400% of the federal poverty level can get insurance now and not pay more than 8.5% of their income. There's talk of people currently paying less than $100 per month.
Hey, what's going on?
Possibly pay $0 per month with these new changes.
No, it's 7 o'clock, so... Well, I just got a text message from Tom Laporta. They're going to be at your house this morning. Yeah, so they'll be there soon. All right, take care. Bye.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network.
What's up?
What are you using for a clock?
Just this. It's 3 after.
I've been telling you for years how great My Pillow
Yeah.
products are, but don't just take my word for it. This is one of our listeners, Todd. He bought the My Pillow mattress topper, and he called us live on the radio to tell us about his experience with the My Pillow mattress topper.
Yeah, I'm calling to get testimonials about my pillow topper.
You ordered the My Pillow, the mattress topper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, I was thinking about buying a new mattress. My old mattress was getting old.
Well, I saw Remo there. If he, pick up the phone. Be a man, Remo. Confront me on the air. I'm not some keyboard warrior writing things in chat rooms.
Oh, that's awesome.
Toll-free number.
I talked to other listeners with the My Pillow mattress topper, and they come in all sizes.
They all say the same thing, these cowardly trolls. Oh, you'll talk over me. You'll this, wah, wah, wah. Please, call in. Challenge me, if you dare.
People weren't buying mattresses enough, so the mattress company stopped making two-sided mattresses, and mattresses are expensive. I've had to buy a new mattress, and mattresses can cost well over, just for a regular normal mattress, over $1,000. So that My Pillow mattress topper is a big savings. It saved you from buying a new mattress and turn your whole bed into a My Pillow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I really love it. I sleep really good.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate that. You guys out there, remember, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Now, when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, save 30%.
The story, I'm reading this story on Governor Whitmer.
And receive
Unreal.
free My Pillows, but you've got to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. 30% off the My Pillow mattress topper. Turn your old mattress into a big My Pillow mattress. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now, here's Steve.
All right. Welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show. Oh, man, I just got word from Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting. They are beginning work on Steve's roof this morning. Steve's going to be off today, back tomorrow. Steve broadcasts from the radio studio that he has at home. Remember, we used to have our own studio in Coral Springs, so I moved to the radio station. And we took all of that equipment and built Steve a studio at his home. And the beginnings of the roof work is the loudest part, so Steve's going to take off today just because of the beginnings of the construction, ripping off that old rotted leaky roof that he's under right now. And he'll be back with us tomorrow, but we'll keep you updated on the work that Laporta Contracting is doing on the Kane compound. Welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. Looking for some calls on a couple of issues. One, looking for some people that heard Dan Bongino's debut radio show, heard from one. And not a very good review from the one listener who called in, but looking for some of you others that heard Dan Bongino's radio debut yesterday with your thoughts, reactions, and reviews of the program. Also, yesterday I threw out a challenge. These lefties are saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene's an anti-Semite, that she said something about Jewish space lasers. I have challenged now for 25 hours for a liberal to call in and share with me Marjorie Taylor Greene saying Jewish space lasers. The problem is with these questions, I'll never get calls with these kind of questions because, she never said it. That's the problem with that. But, now Governor Whitmer of Michigan, does she look crazed to you? I've thought this for a long time, and not just because she's a Democrat I disagree with. She's had some of the strictest Kim Jong-un, North Korea-like lockdowns of the people of Michigan that I've seen in this country. I mean, it's been brutal up there in Michigan. And I've seen her in these press conferences, and she doesn't look all together to me. She always looks insane. And, she got busted violating her own orders, but this isn't the first time. At the height of the COVID crisis in her state, she had locked down all the boat ramps of the state, and her husband, the first gentleman of Michigan, got busted violating his wife's orders and using the boat ramp. Remember this? That's right. That's right. And, whenever she's challenged, what she tells herself with that Sarah Palin Fargo-like accent, ya betcha. Oh, my goodness. Is that how they talk in Michigan? Ya betcha. Oh, my goodness. Like William H. Macy and Fargo, whatever. Whenever she's challenged, she says, it's just because I'm a woman. If I were a man, they wouldn't be doing... Really? Look at Governor Newsom. He's got a recall going on, and he's a man. Okay? But she got busted. Breitbart exclusively obtained a photograph of Democrat Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer violating her own COVID orders at a Lansing dive bar this past weekend. Maybe she was in there catching Richard Marx. Governor Whitmer was hanging out at the Land Shark in Lansing with a group of friends, including her Chief Operations Officer, Tricia Foster. Governor Whitmer's own COVID guidelines issued on May 15th prohibit gatherings of that size. On Sunday, Governor Whitmer released a statement after getting caught yet again violating her own COVID guidelines. She says this: as more people arrived, the tables were pushed together because we were all vaccinated. We didn't stop to think about it. In retrospect, I should have thought about it. I am human. I made a mistake, and I apologize, Governor Whitmer said. On Monday, she said she was crammed at a table with several other maskless people violating COVID guidelines because Land Shark has good pizza? Monday, oh, my goodness. Oh, that's me. Sorry, I hit the YouTube channel link. She got busted here going out for pizza. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with going out for pizza. I think a lot of people should go out for pizza and wings at Wings Plus in Coral Springs on Sample Road, by the way. But the problem is, she said no one else can go out for pizza. And she did it. She got busted. She said, travel. You can't travel. Then she hops on a jet with a bunch of people and comes to Florida during spring break. She gets busted. She says you can't use the boat ramps, that her husband's out there doing it. This past year and a half has been the single largest loss of personal liberty that Americans have ever experienced. Usually, people are gaining more freedom. Not this last year and a half. And the story with Gretchen Whitmer is not just a cute, we caught her in a hypocrisy story. This is what happens when you have dictators that think that there's some type of Wonder Woman person, some feminist icon, signing your rights and liberties right away at the stroke of a pen. They don't apply to them. It's just like in the old days of the Soviet Union. All the big commie bosses had huge houses and everything on the Black Sea. You go to Cuba, Castro, all the big shot commies, they all got beach houses in Cuba. The rules never apply to these dictators. Whitmer, Newsom, big can't do anything. Then he's out at some Napa Valley wine party, maskless. The rules never apply to them. Don't you get it? The rules never apply to them, only to the serfs, the peasants, the people. She should resign from office. And you know what? Maybe she will over this. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. There's only one opening on the board. I'll go to our phones, taking the calls the best I can in the order in which they were received. Good morning. You're on the radio. What is your name?
Good morning, Brian. It's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea. What's on your mind?
To the correct. What other commie dictators do you know that have houses all over the place?
Kim Jong-un, John Kerry, Joe Biden.
Guy in Cuba.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi, right? Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Brian. And this is what the American people, so I have zero, and when I tell you zero sympathy and or compassion for not only the Democrats in office, I have zero compassion for the Democratic voters. And that's just me.
Yeah.
What is the biggest commie ever say? Elections have consequences.
Yeah.
Right? Barack Obama. This is what needed to happen that didn't happen.
Well, Gretchen Whitmer, let me tell you, instead of covering fake stories about UFOs as filler, they should go to Michigan and really cover her. I mean, she put down some of the strictest restrictions in America, and she broke them all. It started with her husband at the boat ramp. Then she came to Florida when she said no one could travel. Now she's out maskless with all the other maskless leaders around her at this pizza joint right after she signs the executive order. I mean, she's a scary woman, and she's dangerous, and you know what? She's moving up the ranks in the Democrat Party.
But here's the problem, Brian. The very second she got busted breaking her own COVID restrictions, just like Wolf marching in the street, just like Newsom going to French Laundry, just like Lightfoot getting a haircut, just like Pelosi haircut. This is the problem. There was no repercussion.
Didn't they in Michigan? Didn't people get arrested for breaking these orders?
There's some woman that is right now has been fined to within an inch of her life because she kept her pizza plates open.
Oh, well, maybe she should have invited Governor Whitmer over.
Here's the thing. The second these people play their hands, there should have been mass protests in front of their house until they resign. That's the type of boots on the ground movement that should have happened. And what happened? Everybody, they said, oh, we're so tolerant. I'm never sorry.
Yeah.
Should have been removed from office, period.
When you see Whitmer on TV, does she look sane to you?
She's a combination of way too much Botox, way too much power, and way too much, what is that called? Narcissism.
Yeah.
Combination.
Well, what happens with a lot of women in authority positions that are liberal is they try to be men. They try to be overly tough, and instead of behaving like a woman. Men and women are different, and that's okay.
But that's what the problem is with feminists. And I used to hang out with feminists, so I know. Miserable people you will ever meet in your life. They're miserable.
I was friends with this girl when I was younger, and she was on all these feminist circles and everything, and she told me the real reason feminists are in favor of abortion. What do you think she told me? Why do they support abortion, feminist women?
Oh, God, Brian.
It's not, okay, it's a simple thing. It's a simple thing. I'm not going to troll for answers on it, just tell you. It has nothing to do with anything. It's because they don't want men telling them what to do. That's all. They got an issue with men. They can't, and they view any restrictions on abortion rights as men telling them what to do, and they just hate men and can't have men telling them what to do. They don't care about women's right to choose, nothing. They just care about men not telling them what to do.
Yes, because...
Oh, hey, did you catch Bongino's radio show yesterday?
I did not.
What's going on?
Well, this is just me, Brian. I love you. I love you and Kathy. I love Tim Pool. I love Ben Ferguson. I love... I love people who can talk. This is what I can't stand. I can't stand Ted Cruz. I don't like Dan Bongino. I don't like Sean Hannity. For it's one common, look like Jersey Shore reality TV stars, and I just can't.
Oh, like Paulie D or something. Really?
Ted Cruz. It takes me literally 2 seconds to...
Well, listen, I know a lot of people don't like Ted Cruz. I know why. I know a lot of people don't like Hannity. I know why. But I've never heard anyone tell me they don't like Bongino. So what is it specifically about Bongino that you don't like?
I respect Dan Bongino for his service to this country. I don't like him as a podcaster because it's
Wesley, $5 super chat. Thank you.
TV for me.
Adolf Whitmer. I like that.
I used to watch his podcasts all the time on YouTube, and then it just got to be like I just don't like that type of journalism. I just want to be talked to. I don't need a lot of semantics. I don't need a lot of, like fluff. Like the reason why I don't like Ted Cruz is because not only does he come off like a bad reality TV star, I don't like Ted Cruz because he's a fluffy little kitten.
Well, yeah.
But he doesn't have a set.
He doesn't have a what? He doesn't have a what?
He doesn't have a stack.
A stack?
A stack.
What does that mean?
Brian, I can't say that. We're on the radio.
Well, tell me. Oh, he does testicles. Well, okay. I'll tell you this about Ted Cruz. He does do a lot of things I like. Like when he went to the southern border with the senators a few weeks ago, I thought that was amazing. And he stood up for Trump a lot, and he's very brilliant. He's done good in debate. However, I'm always cautious because he's from the Bush wing of the party, and it is and you guys can look this up online and judge for yourself. There's a lot of coverage on this. I do believe that is his father with Lee Harvey Oswald in New Orleans, and if you go and look this up, and remember George W. Bush, who was in Dallas that day. People are not G.W. Bush, the father, Bush 41. He was an FBI agent at the time, Bush 41, and he was in Dallas that day. Yeah. You know what? President Bush 41 and President Nixon were both in Dallas that day, by the way. But Ted Cruz came up through the ranks through the Bush family in Texas, and this connection that they have to the Bush family, I believe, goes back to a connection that his father, Ted Cruz's father, made with the Bush family during this undercover op he was doing inside Oswald's world, Lee Harvey Oswald's world. And I'm not a conspiracy person at all, but go and look this up online. In fact, I interviewed years ago during the campaign, the primaries back then, a reporter who did extensive coverage on this. But you can Google this, and he was born in Canada. Ted Cruz, and there was a reason for that, His father left Canada, left New Orleans for Canada. It has been documented that his father was in New Orleans when Oswald was. And remember that movie about Jim Garrison and JFK with Kevin Costner? The real life guy was looking for two unnamed Cubans who had been seen with Lee Harvey Oswald in New Orleans. I and many others believe Ted Cruz's father was one of them, and the reason that Ted Cruz was born in Canada is because his father was hiding out from Jim Garrison in New Orleans, who was looking for him. And I know this sounds crazy. I don't bring it up very much because people think I'm crazy. I'm not a conspiracy person, but I do believe this. And go online and look up this information. Do your own research and form your own opinions on it. So I do like Ted Cruz. He's very good in debate. I watch him on PragerU. He stood up for President Trump. He did a great job going to the border with the senators. But I never forget what I just told you about Ted Cruz. So that makes him an establishment deep state person, if what I believe is true. But anyway, Andre, I got to run for the break. I'm very late, but I appreciate the call and insights. All right, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. It's 22 minutes after 7. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are State of Florida certified roofing and general contractors, focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Hurricane season is right around the corner. This gives us only a short period of time.
Hey everyone, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you're new here, subscribe. And everyone, if you could please like the video. Liking the video helps the YouTube algorithm recommend this video to others that like what we like, which is Trump.
Is www.laportacontracting.com, where you will find our latest video and live testimonials from a few of our past clients. Our number again is 954-604-4602.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, 25 minutes after the hour, back to our phones. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Oh, Nick in Baltimore. Hey, Nick.
Yeah, you were talking about the Dan Bongino.
Well, you're a talk radio addict like me, so I know you heard the Bongino radio debut.
Yeah, I did the same thing you did. I heard the first part of it, then I heard the second hour with the interview with Trump, and then I tuned out because I like Dan Bongino, but I didn't find that much content.
Yeah.
And then the last part of the interview, he asked Trump about the UFO thing, and I got turned off with that.
Yeah, here's the thing. Okay, if you ever watch like a movie or a television show and some unnamed actor gets their big break and they're on a television show or a movie, they're polished and it's well done because they've worked their way up to be there. I found Bongino very unpolished on that debut show. And
I agree with you, and I agree with Andrew. And I think what happens, I think what Andrew was alluding to was his delivery. His delivery, and that's what, and Hannity does the same thing. And I can't stand Hannity. I haven't watched Hannity in, I don't know how long. I can't get through the monologue. His whole radio show is a monologue.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, because Nick in Baltimore is an old radio guy. He's an old broadcaster, so his opinion on radio is one I take very seriously. And I'm, no one's perfect. I'm not perfect on the air. I make mistakes. I have good days and bad days. But not very many bad days, but they happen. But one thing when I've had people over the years get very obsessed with me, to the point where the authorities had to get involved in things like this. And I had an incident happen once that was really bad, and this person, every time I said something, they thought I was talking directly to them. And I was talking to Steve about this, and this happens a lot with people. And Steve had said, well, that means your training is finished. When the listening audience feels as if you're talking directly to them, that's like the goal of a broadcaster, of a talk radio host. And with a lot of these guys, Hannity in particular, I feel I'm being talked at when I'm listening. That's just me, I got other opinions I'm not sharing, but
you're right. You hit the nail on the head with that. I think that's what really turns me off on Hannity. Now, Dan Bongino I like, and I don't really dislike Hannity. I just don't like his show. But maybe with Dan Bongino, he's a great guy.
I like Dan Bongino. I have no beef with Dan Bongino. I think he's a very good guy.
He's a really good guy, and in time, he'll perhaps get that polish. But
well, you're supposed to have the polish before you open the mic up on a nationally syndicated show.
Yeah.
I was unpolished when I began. It took me many years to get, if you consider me polished, it took me many years to get to this point.
You started like I started out on overnights.
I started out not getting paid and not being on the air, and
Now, going back to my college days, I volunteered.
Well, I tell you what, I'm not going to get sidetracked because I've got a full board, but DeForest Kelley, who played Dr. McCoy on the original Star Trek, I was very blessed to spend some time with him in private. And I was starting out in radio and things then, and he gave me advice, and he said, this is what I give advice to people in Hollywood. He said, and it's the same thing because radio is entertainment, He says, get a job doing anything. He's like, if you want to be an actor, get a job as a carpenter on it. Eventually they'll use you. In a movie, they'll use you on the air, and I thought it was very good advice. Okay, but I had a lot of time to polish up my act, but and I had the training of Steve Kane, which is is an Ivy League education in radio. But I'll get Dan Bongino. I found was unpolished, and I'll give you one. Now I listen with a different ear than the rest of you, and I like Dan Bongino very much. Please don't misunderstand me, and I'm not giving a full review. But one thing I noticed in the first hour. And again, I listen with a different ear because I can hear things differently than you do because I do it. That first bit in his show, in the first hour, he was reading. He was reading. When he was going through this thing, I'm going to be here with you every day. I make all these, that whole thing that he was reading. That wasn't off the top of his head. And that really, at least it sounded like he was reading to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. He was, it was his first show. It's the maiden flight, but
yeah,
we'll give the guy a chance. So, but
I'll revisit, and I'm not giving you guys my opinions on Bongino because I'm not judging him by yesterday. I'm going to tune in a couple of weeks and listen and see what happens. But I remember when Piers Morgan was on CNN. They replaced Larry King with him, and he had Oprah on Monday, and Tuesday he had Howard Stern. And Howard Stern said, you think you're going to be a big deal in America? He's like, I had the #1 show in England. He says England's a tiny little place. That's like being #1 in Jersey. He says you had Oprah on last night. You got me on tonight. What are you going to do next week? He said to Piers Morgan. And I got a lot of respect for Howard Stern. I thought that was pretty sharp.
Howard knows his game, and Howard can be one heck of an interviewer.
He's the best celebrity interview in the history of the celebrity interview, in my humble opinion. Okay, so you think unpolished, and he didn't keep. And after the Trump interview, like me, you went away, and you probably hung in that long just to hear the Trump interview, right?
Right.
Well, that's not good. That's not good. I'll tell you, the first time I was going to do a 3-hour talk show, okay, on the radio, Steve gave me. A lot of people don't know this. When I worked in FM radio, and I left a paying job in FM radio to work for free at the talk radio station with Steve Kane, okay. And what Steve used to do is he would have me record my show on cassette, because I was on overnights and he couldn't listen live. I was on from 3 to 6 in the morning. And his daughters were in high school in Orlando, and he used to go up to Orlando every weekend to see his kids play soccer. And he would take, it was only a once-a-week show I was doing then. He would take the tape and listen to the whole show from the drive up and the drive back. And on Mondays, when he got off the air, he'd sit down with me and go through the notes and tell me what I did wrong and what I should have done. And he would even go to callers and say, when you were talking to this person, if you'd have gone, you know what I mean? So I had a lot of education as to how this goes, over the years of mentorship. And not many people have that type of thing. But Bongino, I'm going to go back in 2 weeks, and I'll listen to a show in 2 weeks, and then I'll give a full review. But the fact that I turned off immediately when Trump said goodbye, and you did the same, that's not good on the debut.
Yeah, but before I go real quick, I was blessed because I had the same kind of mentoring you had. My first program director, and he listened to me, and he told me, okay, this is what you did right, this is what you did wrong, just what you're saying, what Steve did with you. And, and I went from volunteer to, I did, the board op thing, and then I did music radio and all that kind of stuff. The thing about talk radio, let me just close with this comment. Music radio isn't fun anymore. Notice, it really isn't, because there isn't any real personality anymore, and that's what.
Well, I'll tell you. Our radio engineer, Don the engineer, here at this radio station. He's an engineer for a lot of radio stations all over Florida. He's very good. He's an old-time radio guy from the 70s and 80s, on-air FM guy, and he's got one of those booming radio voices. And I was talking to him one day, and he says, radio used to be an art form, and now everyone's doing it out of their bedroom. You know what I mean? So it's true. It's true, it's true. And by the way, Steve still does that with me. It doesn't happen every day, but many times. The show will be over at 9, and because Steve and I are in different studios, my phone will ring, and it'll be Steve, and he still will get, what were you doing there, or something, Exactly. All right, Nick in Baltimore. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Listen, there's only one opening on the board, and that's where Nick in Baltimore was. So if you're on hold, stand by. But I do want to hear your thoughts on everything I brought up so far on the program. But let's take that break real quick and come back with more of your calls after this.
Diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer.
Steve Kane Show. Hey, Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
You can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority today, 954-597-7060.
So you've been told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay? Health tests can be very expensive. If you go to your doctor's office or one of the big labs, it can cost you hundreds of dollars. Sometimes I haven't had lab tests because of the cost. Then I discovered Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, you never need an appointment, no doctor's order, or prescription needed either. You can walk right in and have any of their thousands of lab tests done for just a fraction of the price the big labs or your doctor's office charge. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954-906-5983.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, 37 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian Craig, broadcasting live with my MyPillow, My Slippers on. And I'll show you guys on the that are watching on YouTube. They say MyPillow right underneath them. I have the moccasin MyPillow slippers. They call them the My Slippers. 40% off with the promo code Kane at mypillow.com, Kane. And I got to tell you, calling them a slipper does them a disservice because they've quickly become my shoe. I was talking earlier about how I have this blister, so I can't wear my shoes. I put on these MyPillow slippers. I can't even tell I have a blister. It's more. These are the most comfortable slipper/shoe I have ever worn, and they would make great gifts for Father's Day. The MyPillow My Slippers, they're made for indoor and outdoor and all-day wear, and I've been wearing them for 24 hours now, and they are just wonderful. They're so comfortable. 40% off with the promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at mypillow.com. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name?
Hey, I tell you what, Brian, they're pretty good. My slippers, I got to get me a pair of them. They were comfortable looking.
Oh, man, they are so comfortable. I mean, it's, and I work on my feet all day. I'm standing up here in the studio, and my studio I podcast with at home is a standing studio like this. And these are the best. I bought a new pair of shoes on the weekend. The one that gave me a blister, I don't know what I'm going to do with those shoes because I'm a MyPillow slipper kind of guy now.
Let me try to tell you something real quick, and then I'll get off the air for other people. I want to tell you something. I really like the video you shot of you getting kicked out of 3 stores.
Oh, my mall video over the weekend? Yeah.
That's so cool. I thought that was so fun.
Well, what I did, and I was very honored that Richard Pearl, he was impressed by the video. He said a listener came into his store over the weekend and showed him the video and watched it with him. And if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see I visit the COVID-19 store at the mall is the title and thumbnail. But I went to the Sawgrass Mills Mall here in Sunrise without a mask on and went through the mall to show you what happens if you don't have a mask on. I got tossed out of more stores than are in the video. I just thought it would be repetitive if I kept showing stores I was getting tossed out of. It was including the Gap, and Gap Corporate has said no masks are necessary, but the Snowflake shirt folder, he told me no mask, no shopping.
That's ridiculous. Well, I tell you what, you're doing a great job, and you and Steve are always doing a great job.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Did you catch Dan Bongino's radio debut yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
I am really down about that because I watch him on YouTube, like I watch you on YouTube, but I'm awful mad because wasn't he supposed to be on the radio somewhere?
Well, yeah, it was on the radio. Yeah, it was on the radio. Oh, so you didn't hear it. You missed it. You couldn't find it.
But I heard it on, whatever it was, iHeart.
Okay. All right. So what are your thoughts on what you heard?
I like Dan Bongino, and I know he's going to get with it, but I didn't get a chance to hear him interview Trump.
Oh, you missed the Trump interview. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of I like Dan Bongino, but with this show, I've heard that from every person that's called me today that's heard the show. I have not given my review of the show. I'm going to wait until maybe next week at the earliest. I'm going to give him a few days and a week to get on there and get settled into the chair, you know, and then judge, you know. But I'm not hearing positive vibes from people.
We're going to find him on the radio.
Keep looking. All right, take care. Conservative Doug, good morning.
Good morning. You know, you mentioned Wings Plus a little while ago. I got to tell you a quick story. I had somebody come to my house buying something for me, and we started chatting, and he said they came from Orlando, all the way from Orlando, and they said, well, I'm a restaurant reviewer, and I'm heading down to Miami to review some restaurants and criticize restaurants. I said, have you ever gone to Wings Plus? And he says, no, I never heard of it. I said, well, Sun Sentinel said they're the best wings in South Florida. Why don't you go there on the way down to Miami, do your taste buds a favor, and they said, oh, maybe I'll go. I said, tell you what, if you go there and you get the wings and you don't like them, come back and I'll pay for the wings. That's how much you're going to like them. There's no way. They're the best wings, I think, they say in South Florida. I think they're the best wings anywhere. Anyway,
no one
I don't
got
know if
blocked.
they made it or not because I never talked to them again.
Oh, that's a story without an ending.
Yeah, well,
You told the beginning of a story, but we don't have the ending of the story. Well, I know how that story is going to end. They're the best wings anywhere at Wings Plus. I know. I mean, you eat at Wings Plus.
Anyway, going back to the topic, I really wanted to hear Bongino. I totally forgot about it. With the opportunity.
Okay.
That Whitmore character, you know, what's with the fun? Doesn't she know she got bangs to cover that thing up? I mean, she's insane. I think you're right. I think she's insane. She looks crazy, and I don't know why these people don't recall her as well as.
I don't know. Well, you can't do a recall in every state. California is a weird state with all their propositions and everything. I don't think you can just recall a governor and all these different, like you could, you know.
Certainly, I think she's worse than anybody.
Well, the thing with Governor Whitmer, if you notice, the biggest tyrants among the governors is Newsom, Whitmer, and Cuomo. They've all been disasters, and Whitmer and Newsom have been busted breaking their own mandates and rules, and Cuomo's got other problems, but you know the three high-profile Democrats, and then you've got Ron DeSantis, who's been perfect here in Florida. Perfect. I couldn't criticize Ron DeSantis if I wanted to.
Great. He's definitely going to be a great president eventually. And
in 2028. He'll be vice president with Trump in his second term first.
That's going to be great. If we get that, boy, this country will be in really good shape again.
You know, there's people in Florida now that are trying to discourage Ron DeSantis from running for vice president with Donald Trump because they don't want to lose him as our governor those last 2 years because he's doing such a great job.
Yeah, well, then we have other people that can take it.
No one will be as perfect as governor of Florida as Ron DeSantis. No one. I mean, I've been here with a lot of governors. Rick Scott did very good, okay? But, you know, he did very good preparing this state for the hurricanes, right? We didn't run out of gas. He's done a lot of work so the power doesn't go out. But Ron DeSantis is just perfection. I mean, he's like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix. He's the one. And I mean, yesterday with this thing with the social media thing he's just perfect person.
Yeah, without a doubt. But the calling for the vice president is a bigger opportunity, I think, for our country. And I think Florida can get somebody, and it won't be as good, but it'll be pretty good. And Trump needs him, I think. Those two would be a dynamic duo.
He would be a great vice president. See, this is the thing, because I was talking to my wife about this on my podcast. You know, a lot of people say, well, no. He doesn't want to be the number 2 guy, the vice president. He's a top of the ticket guy. He'll run in 2028. This is what people got to understand. When Trump is elected in 2024 for his second term, he's not going to run again, right? It'll be his second term, and that's it. He'll be term limited. And President Trump is going to come in with a mandate that no president ever has had, because people know what they're missing now, and with this what's running the country now. So he's going to get everything done. coming in as Trump's vice president in his second term, he can't run again. Ron DeSantis will walk right into the nomination, no primary challenges, and boom, right into the presidency. It's different. It's different for Ron DeSantis because of that, the 9 consecutive second term.
I mean, the American people, they elected Biden, well, perhaps they elected Biden anyway, but because he's vice president.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't vice president, he would have no chance.
Yeah. All right, listen, appreciate the call. Conservative Doug, take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Haas.
Yeah, regarding your blister, a long time ago I used to sell men's shoes, and we had what they call pinch pads. It's like adhesive, like a square adhesive.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the little padding, and you put them on there in the back.
Okay.
Also, you can bend back you can loosen the back end of the shoe, the counter. Bend it back and forth. Flexible.
Well, it's much easier just to put on these My Pillow, My Slippers. I can't even tell I have a blister.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah.
And maybe better. But as far as Bongino, I listen to
Steve
the
Kane
talk
show.
shows, and of course I listen to what used to be the Rush show. And the only time I heard it mentioned that Bongino was going to be on was from someone like you. No when or where.
So you missed it.
I think they did a bad job with that. And then if they put Joyce Kaufman on for the first hour, that would be another mistake. They should have advertised good where he would be and when.
Well, I remember when Rush first was getting syndicated. When Rush was first syndicated here in South Florida, he was on the sports station. He wasn't on, WQAM. He was on the sports station, which was really, but they, I remember going into the Publixes, and this was right when he was getting syndicated, before he was a household name, and they had stand-up, what do you call those stand-up displays in the aisles at Publix that were Rush Limbaugh, telling you what station he was on in that market. And I remember that particular time, I saw them all over Publix here in South Florida, and I went over to Tampa for a weekend with some friends, and we went into a Publix to buy, this is how long ago it was, we went in the Publix to buy wine coolers, and they had the Rush Limbaugh standing things at the Publixes over there, but
I mean, they needed more publicity to let you know what was going on.
Yeah.
That the Lord has made.
That is true, as is everyone. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our last break of the second hour. Come back with more of your calls. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631.
It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day. And,
hey guys, if you're not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe, all right? And everybody in the chat room, like the video, if you don't mind. Like the video.
Going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week, and we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation, and she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew, were very, very polite, and they did
Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. I don't usually answer the phones. The reason I am now is one of our sponsors is calling in to do a call-in, and I don't know exactly what time, so I'm trying to catch them before they go on the air so I can do a proper introduction.
And let me tell you, I was very impressed, and my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling. and they put in flex stuff, which is, what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork. And I got everything for less than what I thought.
Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Brian, this is Wellington.
Hey, Wellington, what's up?
I just wanted to comment on the Dan Bongino.
Oh, did you hear the show yesterday?
I heard a little bit of it. I wasn't really able to. I had my kids with me.
Mm-hmm.
I just was commenting on the fact that they don't really promote the whole show anymore, and I believe it's by design, more than anything.
Well, build it and they will come. Who's promoting this show?
Right, I understand that part, but I mean, to damage Rush Limbaugh's legacy, they didn't promote the show. That's how I look at it.
Well, listen, I will agree with you. They've had a very poor PR rollout. Yes, yeah. They had a really poor PR rollout. There's no doubt about it. But you got to, I was talking to Steve about this before the Bongino show debut, and he said that there's a vacuum now with Rush, gone without appointing a successor. So there's going to be a lot of people that come up and get syndicated over the next year or so because the build up to the election and everything, and some of them will make it, and some of them won't, and there'll be different levels and everything else, and maybe. There hasn't been a big PR push on this Bongino launch because they want to see how he'll do. Rush, when he got syndicated, was already proven. He was when he got nationally syndicated, he'd been on the air in New York for a while, and even part of his show was syndicated. And a lot, and so there was a different thing with that. Same thing with Hannity. When his show blew up on the radio, he was on Fox,
All that when he was out there in the, beginnings.
What I'm wondering is if they didn't roll out a big PR campaign because they want to see if he makes it or falls.
Maybe that's part of it.
But I knew guys, when a lot of people may not, in fact, probably no one knows this, but when Rush Limbaugh was first getting syndicated, I've talked to many people who were radio station executives. Rush Limbaugh would call them personally and talk to them about carrying his show.
Right. Yeah, he was the best of the best, that's for sure. I mean, I started listening to him when I was younger, and I was 17, 18 years old, and he definitely impressed upon me,
Mm-hmm.
As a 35-year-old, I appreciated his.
Well, what's your opinion of Bongino, what you've heard so far? What's your opinion?
He's just a little dry and stale for me.
Really?
It's just a little dry and stale. I mean, he's kind of always been that from the Fox roll-up.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a difference between being a guest and being a host. There's a difference between being a pundit and driving a show. And, when the talk of a Rush replacement was going on, I talked to Steve about this a lot. By the way, appreciate the call. I hear you're busy. I talked to Steve about this a lot. There's not been a replacement named by the EIB network, and I have some people I like, but there's a difference between a radio talk show host and an activist, and Rush Limbaugh was a professional radio talk show host, a broadcaster, not an activist. There's a big difference between that. All right, let's go take some more calls. Only one opening. on the board. Good morning, you're on the radio. Good morning, you're on the air. I hear you. Once, twice. All right, good morning, you're on the air.
Steve in Michigan.
Steve in Michigan. What's up, Michigan?
Yeah, I didn't listen to the Dan
Steve Kane show.
I like him.
Hold on.
I really thoroughly enjoy like when he rips on Geraldo. But
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's fun.
but tuning in at noon. I know he's not supposed to be Russian placement or anything, but I don't know the expectation, I guess, of tuning in at noon or whatever. But he like you were saying earlier, he's a good guest.
Mm-hmm.
Carrying a show, lots of insights and all that. I'm sure it's good. Don't get me wrong, but
well, okay. Now there's two things here. I'm a little cautious for two reasons. Okay, one, like I said, I'm going to wait until at least next week and tune in and hear what the show is. Okay. That's one thing, because I'll give him his first week, and two, I don't want anybody to think I've got any beef with Dan Bongino. I like Dan Bongino a lot. I respect Dan Bongino a lot, and I think he's an amazing person. Okay, so I don't want anybody to think I got any negativity towards Dan Bongino. I don't like Ben Shapiro. I'll tell you that right now. I do not like Ben Shapiro, but Dan Bongino I like a lot. I'd be honest. I know he lives. Not too far from here, and I mean, I'd love to have a beer with him. I got a lot of respect for Dan Bongino. Please don't think that. So that's another reason I'm holding back a little bit on my observations from yesterday.
just I got to listen in to him as well. I got to check it out. But earlier the caller said that you saying that you didn't like him or whatever. I do remember an episode. You didn't say anything bad about him, but I don't know. It sounded like somebody could have interpreted it that way. What was it you said?
Jesse, $5 super sticker. Thank you. Everyone, thank you. Thank Jesse.
I don't know. Something about the way sometimes he goes off on people.
I don't remember.
That thing.
Well, listen, I imagine most of you in the listening audience have negative words about something I say or do on the air from time to time. That's part of the biz. You can't, having not liking what somebody thinks on a particular topic or issue or says on one day or handles something on one day. I don't judge somebody based on that.
I understand. I'm just saying I could see how maybe they might have taken it that way, but I didn't really take it that way. Honestly, I couldn't really.
If I don't like someone, I'll tell you. I don't like Ben Shapiro. And I'll tell you. If I don't like someone, I will tell you. I like Dan Bongino. I think Dan Bongino is a really cool guy, and I like him a lot. I got Ben Shapiro is a whole nother deal. A lot of people wonder, how did Ben Shapiro get so big? I think he's a rich guy who bought his way in, myself personally. But I could be wrong. No.
Really heard of him and followed YouTube stuff about a year or so ago, so I didn't even know who he was. But anyway, I'm gonna have to check.
And I agree with Ben Shapiro on some particular things, but I don't think he's likable. I don't think he's likable, and he talks as fast as an auctioneer.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah. All right, take care. All right, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh man, 1 hour to go. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our top of the hour break and come back with the third and final hour of this Tuesday morning edition of Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Stop paying an outrageous
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Yeah. Turn off the radio in the back. All right, hold on. Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
At the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price of Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a
Welcome, everyone who's new here. Welcome to the program. If everyone could like the video, that would be awesome. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I upload a lot of content on this channel.
Starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954
Steve Kane Show.
9445.
Hey, John.
Online, friendlytire.net.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are State of Florida certified roofing and general contractors, focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Hurricane season is right around the corner. This gives us only a short period of time to make sure your roof and home is ready for the 2021 hurricane season. So don't delay and call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Our website is www.laportacontracting.com, where you will find our latest video and live testimonials from a few of our past clients. Our number again is 954-604-4602.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now,
All right, third hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Those of you who want to hold, stand by. I'll go back to the phones shortly. Steve will be back with us tomorrow. Laporta Contracting, Tom Laporta, they are starting work on Steve's, his leaky, falling apart roof this morning, right now as I am speaking to you, which, Steve's tile roof is being ripped off this morning. It is, it's like, trying to broadcast from Fred Flintstone's workplace in Bedrock, right, the rock pit. It is loud, and so Steve's taking a break today because his studio is at home, and it would be just a little too loud this morning, but he'll be back with us tomorrow, and we'll talk more about all the roof work that Tom Laporta, Laporta Contracting, is doing on Steve's house later in the show, and also when Steve's with us tomorrow, we'll get some feedback on what's going on over there today. Before I go back to the phones, I just want to bring up a new topic just to add to the mix, and then I'll go back to the phones, so stand by, guys. Marco Rubio is on the Senate Intelligence Committee, and he gave an interview to Breitbart yesterday. This is little Marco, and he says that the Chinese communists see an opportunity in the Biden era. Okay, here's the deal, all right? Here's the deal. The Democrat Party of the United States is run out of California. All the senior Democrats, except for Biden, are from California. Pelosi, Kamala, 1 and 2. We know of 2 top Democrats out of California who have been victims of Chinese spy operations. The most recent one is Eric Swalwell was involved in a sexual relationship with a Chinese spy seductress. And they got all kinds of video of that freak in high definition. Okay, that came out. Dianne Feinstein had a guy working for her office as her personal driver and everything for 20 years, Chinese spy. And a lot of people, and Nancy Pelosi is from California, okay, as is Kamala Harris. And a lot of people wondered why Biden picked Kamala Harris. She only had about 1% support among Democrats being polled. Remember this? And a lot of people were talking about Whitmer being on the list and others. They picked her because she's from California, where the Chinese communists control the party. And Biden Well, he's got one of that big hedge fund deal with Hunter going on. So, I believe that this fake narrative going on about Chinese hate crimes, because there's not an epidemic. All crimes are bad. Violent crimes are all very, very bad. Most of the hate crimes or violent crimes being committed against Asian Americans or Americans of Asian descent are being committed by African Americans, if you've noticed this in the news. But I believe a lot of this fake narrative about this rash of increase in Chinese hate crimes, or I'm sorry, Asian hate crimes, is because the Chinese Communist Party's influence over the Democrat Party. And Kamala was picked because she's part of that California delegation. So little Marco Rubio is right on the money with this. And there's other things too, like this lab story coming out and everything else. All right, let's go back to our phones. One opening on the board at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Good morning, caller. There we go. By the way, if you're on hold to go on the air, you want to make sure you listen on your phone, not on the device you're listening to the program on, because we're on a very long delay. We can be on a delay that's 40 seconds, or we can be on a delay that's as long as a few minutes, depending on what platform you're listening to the program on. So when I go to the phones and you hear they're not there, oftentimes that's the problem. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen, what's up?
So,
Steve Kane Show.
Talking about the
Hold on.
I didn't watch it.
Hello, Steve Kane Show.
I'm going to try and find it today. But,
yes. Barry?
You think it's creepy with,
okay, hold on.
Rush Limbaugh, but I really think that he's still relevant. They talk about current things going on every day, and then they go back to Rush, what he said. So I really enjoyed it.
Well, I think they've really screwed up at the EIB network, and I don't know what the politics and finances are of what's going on up there, but it's a train wreck. And this is what I would have done, If and by the way, they listen to this program. They're in our market, okay, up there. Okay, so this is and I respect everybody at the EIB network, including Bo Snerdley and everybody up there. I believe they should have named a replacement. I don't know who that replacement should be. I got a list of people that would be on my list. And what I would do instead of running these old Rush Limbaugh shows is, you remember Paul Harvey? Yeah. Okay, I would take those clips. I would still call it the Rush Limbaugh Show, hosted by whoever the replacement host would be. And I've got a short list of people, other than myself, that I would put up for that job. But let me finish. And what I would do is I would take all these Rush archives they have, and turn it into a Paul Harvey type thing on the show. You understand what I mean? Have like the Rush Limbaugh minute or 2-minute thing every day, like Paul Harvey used to do. And those would be timeless and forever, as opposed to ghost adventures, that they're doing up there. I find it creepy.
Okay. All right.
But that's just me.
So, all right. So, and just a couple other things is Ben Shapiro. I like him a lot better than Sean Hannity. He's got more content. Hannity is always talking about personal crap.
Yeah.
He talks fast, but I do think he has more content. And
yeah, but he's a never Trumper.
Yeah, but if I'm going to listen to something at that time slot, I go back and forth.
Well, there's more. I listen to programs for more than just their content. Anybody can talk about the Chinese Communist Party influence. So I listen to people who are interesting, entertaining, draw me in, and are talking to me. And Ben Shapiro, he says that he talks as fast as an auctioneer. He talks so fast because he's got so much to say. He's a teacher. And Hannity thinks he's a teacher too. That is deadly to me as a radio listener. And Steve's always told me that the worst thing a radio host can do is start to think of themselves as an educator on the air. And that's why Hannity has his talking points. He's teaching by repetition. That's why he repeats those same things every day.
I like the guy after Shapiro. He comes on, I think, at 5 o'clock. I forget his name.
I don't know.
Who are the Joel named the guys? Have his Russia's replacement?
Bill O'Reilly's on my list. Mark Stein's on my list. Mark Levin's on my list. Mark Stein's not at the top of the list, although I like him a lot. But Bill O'Reilly would be at number 1. Yeah.
Love Mark Levin, but when I used to listen to his radio show, I don't know. I really it was a few years ago, but I didn't.
Well, one thing about Bongino. Well, you know what? I gotta run, but I'll share. There's been a big change in talk radio with Bongino, which I'll get to in a bit. All right. Thanks for the call, Joellen. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Stand by. I'm going to speak first, though, to Attorney Barry Siegel. Good morning, Attorney Barry Siegel.
Good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us today?
Well, help is available for those either are in need of care, home, or in a facility, or have a loved one who is going to need care. There is help available, because one of the first questions is, how are we going to pay for this? And the cost of long-term care is very, very expensive and can go on for a very long time. So the question is, how are we going to pay for it? Are we going to use long-term care insurance? Well, if you're fortunate enough to have gotten it, that's great. Many people do not have it, so you either spend down your own assets until there's nothing left, and then you can get on government benefits, or we can protect your assets now and get you on government benefits now.
Yeah.
To you who aren't needing care now, it's a very good idea to do what's necessary to plan ahead so we can get you on care down the road. When we're talking about care, we're talking about benefits like Medicaid and perhaps veteran benefits as well, to make sure that you don't run out of money before you run out of money.
Oh, now you mentioned veterans benefits. Veterans benefits also continue to spouses of veterans, right? They can?
Are available not only to the veteran, but to the spouse and also to a survivor.
Okay, and also, now this is something you may not think of in this way. Some of you husbands out there were married to a veteran, because we've got a lot of female veterans. So a male spouse of a female veteran would still qualify for these things. Now listen, when it comes to all these things we talk about, the long-term care and everything, don't spend down your assets before calling Barry Siegel. Don't ask a friend. They don't know what they're talking about. And they're trying to impress you that they know something that they know nothing about. And don't go on the internet Googling. Call Attorney Barry Siegel, because it's a free consultation. Take advantage of the free consultation with the attorney, Attorney Barry Siegel, and get the right answers for your situation. His number is toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we will talk later in the week.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
This is Mike.
Hey, Mike.
From Louisiana. What I found with the Bongino is he's not in, unlike Rush, who is in just about every market, particularly around the state of Louisiana. Bongino is not yet in every market in Louisiana. I had to go to a different radio station that's not.
Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't make a debut on 1,000 radio stations like Rush. But so did you hear Dan Bongino's show yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, give me your reaction and review and thoughts.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of what he does is repetitive at times. I mean, he's been on the whole Mike Flynn deal for at least a year, maybe.
Okay, so first is repetitive. Now, did you hear the interview with the president?
I like the interview with the president, and I did say after that, which I do enjoy him. I do enjoy him.
President Trump or Bongino?
Both of them.
Okay, so you enjoyed the show yesterday. You enjoyed the show.
I did. I enjoyed the show, and I'm willing to stick with it and come like you. I'm gonna stick with it, and then I'm probably gonna call you back after a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But
now, did the show? Now, when you tuned in yesterday to Dan Bongino, did it meet your expectations for the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. You sure?
That statement at the beginning seemed to be a statement that, one, he's said before, but in the lead up to getting on the air, and two, it seemed to be being read as well. You know.
Now, some people on the radio, a lot of people on the, I do not do this, okay? Steve and I don't do this, but a lot of people, now I have the phone numbers written down for the sponsors, so I don't mess up, you know what I mean? I'll look at, you know what I mean? But other than the phone numbers for the sponsors, I got nothing written. And I almost had a radio host kill me over this. There was a guy on the radio, he's not on the radio anymore, and he used to write out his whole show. 3-hour show was all written out. And I came on one night, and this is when I was very young, and I was out partying at all the clubs on the beach with my friends and went without any prep to do a radio show. And I looked in the garbage can, and he threw his whole show in the garbage after we was done, written out. So I made a bit out of it. I took it out of the garbage, and I told everybody I no plans. I've been out drinking all night, no prep, but I got Jim's show right here, and I just did his show, reading through his thing. Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to get shot. He was so upset. He was so upset. But and Glenn Beck does a lot of reading, from things that are pre-written. People do it, but I don't recommend it.
Well, that's the thing. We have a local guy around here that his big deal was writing things down on like 3x5 cards and putting them around the studio where he did this show. He doesn't do a show anymore, but that's what he would do.
Yeah.
And you know, bullet points and all that stuff. And so, yeah.
Then tell us what you think, because you
I'll say this about Rush. Rush was so good.
Prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie the bus driver called Steve Kane on the air and told him about his experience at Brighton Dental.
Good morning. I have to talk about Brighton Dental because your sponsor is a miracle worker.
You might have to refresh, guys.
Backwards in my mouth. My front top tooth. I put it back into the socket. It felt like it was falling out. I had pain. I couldn't even eat spaghetti. And I was going to a wedding in New York 2 days later. And I said, what am I going to do? You know? And the dentist here wanted to charge me $120 just to look at it and to tell me he couldn't do anything. I went to Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. I traveled 139 miles. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Each way. Okay? The man sat and worked on my tooth for 2 hours. Put a pin in it. Put it back in place. I could eat anything I want. He said it was temporary. He did such a great job. It feels like permanent. I have no pain. I can eat anything I want now. And the fact of the matter, this is what really was unbelievable. I was getting on the bus to go to the reception, okay, in New York City. He knew I was in New York. The phone rings. Who do you think's on the line? Dr. Gupta. Right. He wants to see if everything is going okay and if I'm in any pain. The guy is unbelievably wonderful. I mean, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to eat. I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta, and he's been over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. You know, dentistry is an art when you stop and you think about it. And Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does. He's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is top shelf, and I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in. But right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the bus driver's advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on radio. Just search for www.
Oh.
Really are keeping Steve and his family hard before we start. So I just wanted to say that. I didn't get to say it last week. I wanted to, and I didn't get to.
Well, over what? Is there something I'm missing? Oh, you mean with the loss of the son-in-law? Oh, yeah. You know, and what we found, got a little more information on that. He was on vacation out of the country and had a heart attack. Well, it was at the beach. So, yeah, on vacation out of the country. Yeah.
Young?
Well, it depends on what your version of young is. I never knew him. I don't know how old he was. I know Steve's daughter is about my age, a couple years younger, and I know he was an older man to her, but I don't know how much older.
Yeah, well, that's pretty bad. But as far as Bon Jovi, I didn't want...
Bon Jovi? No, Bongino. Not Bongino, not Bon Jovi.
I don't know anything about... I know that he was a Secret Service agent for, I believe, Hillary Clinton.
Obama? There's Obama. He was a... Yeah. Mm-hmm. He might have been on Hillary's detail, I don't know, but I know on his book he's got a picture of him protecting Obama.
But as far as Rush, I wish you would throw your hat in the ring for that one.
No, well, I'm here. I'm right down the street. They listen to this program. It's right their studio is right up the street from me. They listen to this show. Would I go where? Would I go on the EIB network? Would I go to be on 1,200 radio stations? What do you think?
What kind of pressure? That's 80,000 viewers to 8 million or 14 million a day.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I could handle it.
You think?
Yeah.
No, she would have to have a show together.
No, don't take any notes. Don't take any notes. I do the show the same way I do now. They probably wouldn't let me go screenless on the calls like I do. They probably would not let me do that, but which I would fight for. But
podcast.
What's that?
You prep for your podcast.
No, not really.
Prep for that kind of.
No.
Ads and you go through.
No, what I do. No, I don't. What I do. This is how I do the prep for. When you're doing a radio show. Well, what do you think I do to prep? Before I tell you what I do, what do you think I do?
What do I think that you do for your show? I think that you and your wife talk about what you're going to do and what you're going to talk about to have a discussion back and forth on air.
No. In fact, I don't like to have any. In fact, I don't like to have any discussion about anything that's going to happen on the air, and I avoid it at all cost. That's why I don't screen calls. Because if you start talking about things off the air, if here at the radio station, Rich Allen is not Rick Allen from Def Leppard, but Rich Allen is down the hall at the radio station studio. He could screen the calls for us if we want to, but I don't screen the calls. You may have heard. You know why I don't screen calls, right?
And I've only been screened one time, I believe.
Well, sometimes I the only time I really answer the phone is Attorney Barry Siegel. I was waiting for him to call, so I wanted to be able to introduce him. So I answered the phones off the air, and because I knew Barry would be calling in. So I could do a proper introduction to Attorney Barry Siegel. No, the reason I don't screen calls, two reasons. One is what I told you about repetitive. If somebody is screening the calls, and we have somebody here to do it, I just don't use that opportunity. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What do you want to talk about? The caller gets off their chest what they want to say. That's number one. So when they get on the air, they feel like they're repeating themselves. It's never the same. Number two, I think it's more interesting as a listener not knowing what's coming, and when you guys don't know, I don't know what's coming, and I think it's more interesting when I'm taking calls not knowing what's coming at me on the phone. I can tell by the way someone says hello if they're a liberal or a conservative, if they're going to be a friendly call or a hostile call. I don't need to hear that. Let's do it live on the air. There's other reasons too, but those are the main reasons. And so far as show prep. I just follow the news and live my life like I normally would. I don't. There's no notes. There's no nothing for my podcast, for the radio show. Nothing. If you follow me on Twitter, you get my show prep because if I see a story, I'll tweet it. And I'm just to remind myself. But no, nothing's pre-planned. Nothing's pre-written. No, that's deadly, deadly.
Topics that you would bring up that were more on policy and
depends on what's going on that day. I mean, I know what I really don't decide until I open my mic up what I'm going to start with. And I would, if I were doing a nationally syndicated show, it'd be the same thing. If I were tapped to be the new Rush guy, okay, What I would do is I would, first show, there'd be no speeches about fighting for you every day and all this stuff. I'd go on the air, bring up 1 or 2 issues or topics, and then I would open up the phones to never-Trumpers and Democrats. And I would have spent my first day talking to never-Trumper lowlives and Democrats about the president, President Trump. That's what I would have done. That would have been me. That's what I would do.
It's a waste of time to speak into an echo chamber, right?
Well, you don't want to preach to the choir only. You want to reach people that aren't in your choir.
Yeah, the people that believe what you already believe in, you don't have to prove it.
So did you listen to Bongino yesterday?
Oh, I did. I told you that's why I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fox. I don't watch TV, and I say that literally. When I say I've seen him on Fox, it was just over some of the things that he said about what was his name? It was what?
Geraldo.
Yeah, that one. It was on your.
And they replaced her with Duffy, the girl that used to be on The Real World. The conservative. Yeah. So they're making some moves to try to bring the MAGA people back to Fox. I don't know how successful they'll be, but that's
the loyalty comes into play, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, listen. Take care, Paris. Do you have anything else before I let you go? No, that's good. Okay. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Good morning, Brian Craig. Dan from Boynton Beach.
Hey, doing all right. How are you, Dan?
Good. No, I really like Bongino, and I like his take on things, and
Well, did you hear his radio show yesterday? Okay, tell me specifically your thoughts to the radio show itself.
I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty much, consistent with who Bongino is. I mean, I between me and you, he's not going to be Rush. Rush is irreplaceable. So we're not like, I wasn't looking for that. I thought he did a real good job. And man, Bongino, I think he's A1. I think he's going to be, really good. I'm not saying he's Rush Limbaugh times 2, Rush Limbaugh times 2, the next Rush. I don't think we're ever going to get the next Rush.
Yeah.
But Bongino, I mean, his points are good. And I certainly didn't mind him going over General Flynn for a year and Spygate for a year, because there were so many details that Obama thought would all be brushed under the rug that nobody.
Well, let me tell you. Okay, now this is something that I do not have confirmation of this. This is just my opinion as a listener. Yesterday, I heard President Trump with Bongino. I heard the interview yesterday, and this is what I think happened here. I think Dan Bongino got the job because of President Trump. I think President Trump worked some magic to get the job for him. Bongino may not know that. Maybe he does. And let me tell you, this is an interesting little thing here, because this is a big change. Because Dan Bongino is MAGA. He's with Trump 100% like I am, right? So, I mean, I'm with Bongino because I think MAGA, we need to be a united front. We're going against these never-Trumpers, right? These Liz Cheney lowlives and all these jerks and the Democrats and then the media. So I'm for MAGA United, and I'm with Dan Bongino, and I like Dan Bongino a lot, okay? But this is a big change in talk radio, because all of the other syndicated hosts, Hannity, Rush, Mark Levin, good guys, not knocking any of these people, but they came up through the ranks with the old guard of the Republican Party, and even Beck. And they owe favors and have friendships that are decades long with the political establishment people. And Dan Bongino, whose show launched on a whole bunch of radio stations and is going to be a massive success with this radio show, and it will get better, and it will get more polished, and it will get more natural and everything else as time goes on. This is the first MAGA person. His loyalty is to MAGA, and that's President Trump, the Trump family, and us, the MAGA movement. So these other guys, Mark Levin, remember, Mark Levin was a big never Trumper back in the primaries against Hillary. Now, President Trump has approved of him. He's woken up and all this stuff, okay, with Mark Levin. But Mark Levin worked in the Reagan administration. Mark Levin made his way into where he's at through Republican establishment connections. Glenn Beck had a lot of Republican establishment connections. That's why he went against Trump in the Republican primaries back in the 2015. Even Hannity, okay, has friendships and connections to the old guard establishment. Dan Bongino, I believe, is MAGA. I think Trump had a role in getting him the gig, and he is the first nationally syndicated radio host that has no favors owed to the old guard establishment Republican Party. So we are in an entirely new situation now.
Yeah, that sounds good. I wasn't really thinking it like that, but yeah, if that's the case, perfect. That's great for us because it'll be more MAGA than trying to do, if that's true, which I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Favors to, Mitch McConnell or whatever, or unfortunately Kevin McCarthy and those types of people. No, I think Bongino's really going to, be a strong asset for us, especially for MAGA. Back to Mark Levin, he's the great one for a reason, and he was the great one before Trump. And
oh no, I love Mark Levin. I think Mark Levin's awesome, but you understand there's a change with Bongino. There's a changing of the guard in talk radio from the establishment to the MAGA Trump wing. You understand what I'm saying? There's even Rush had decades-long friendships with Boehner and people like that. So this is a whole new thing with Bongino. It's MAGA radio. You understand? And that's why Trump was there to christen and bless the show yesterday. It was a blessing by Trump yesterday. He's saying, "Hey, this is my guy, and he's okay," And that's a big change. And one of the things Trump had problems with in these syndicated guys is they were backing different people. Glenn Beck was backing, I think, Ted Cruz. I don't know who Mark Levin was behind. I think maybe Ted Cruz too, because they were old guard guys. And how long
Cruz too when it started.
I was with Trump back in 2012 when he went and had pizza with Sarah Palin in New York.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I basically voted for McCain because he picked Sarah Palin, but more importantly, that vote was to stop Obama.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got to run. I'm late for the break, but thanks for the call. Real quick.
Ted Cruz is a true conservative, and we supported him because he had a track record.
I like Ted Cruz, but I was talking in the last hour. I don't have time to go through it now, but I'm always cautious of Ted Cruz. All right, take care. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. Don't go anywhere.
You need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by
Steve Kane Show.
Or any lab test now of
Hold on.
Springs.
Steve Kane Show.
For all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any lab test now of Boca is located in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
You're on the radio. What's your name?
Ann's husband.
Ann's husband. Okay.
Right now?
You're on the radio, man.
Okay, now, here's the thing. I'm not trying to debate with you. I'm just going to tell you. Westwood 1 is huge, and you know that.
Oh, yeah.
Westwood 1, that's only your conjecture that Donald Trump handpicked this. I mean, again, like I said on your Marco Polo, he's right on with MAGA, all that kind of stuff. He has the right.
No. It's more than conjecture. I listen to talk radio with a different ear than you listen to, and I do. Because I have a professional ear. So, and if I'm irrelevant, why are you calling? If what I'm saying is irrelevant, why are you calling me? Yeah. So what I'm telling you, what
I didn't say what you said was irrelevant.
Oh. Okay, go ahead.
To keep the audience, and he's going to. Okay, don't you have to argue like that, dude?
Why are you getting upset with me?
Because you're putting words in my mouth, dude.
I'm not putting anything in your mouth.
He's got Westwood 1 is very adventurous. We know they're a big company. They're very adventurous, and he's going to do great. Okay, it's just.
Well, did you hear the show yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Okay, tell me what are your thoughts on yesterday's program?
Here's what they want, and I said it even before he went on. He's not as young as Charlie Kirk or whatever, like you said on the Marco Polo, but he has a younger vibe. He's high energy. He's not low energy like low energy Jeb or someone like that. He's super high energy, showing off his muscles. He's going to be great. He's going to be great for a younger audience. They're trying to branch out. They're trying to start out something new. They're willing to try something new, like you said earlier.
No, I listen. This is what I was talking about before the break. Is there's this having a change into a MAGA connected syndicated radio host as opposed to someone connected to the old Republican establishment is a big transition. I don't think you guys understand. These it's hard for you to understand when you don't wait. You're waiting to talk. All right, I'll just let you finish because you're not in a conversational mode.
Yes, I am.
Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
I agree with you. They're trying to start something completely different, and it's a great idea. Because like you said, it's a great idea because we need the fresh blood, we need the fresh philosophy, the new thing. We're starting off with a clean slate, so it's very exciting.
Okay, all right. Take care. Thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hello.
Yellow. Yeah, you're on the air. Oh boy. Yeah, it sounds like you.
Okay, it's hard to tell sometimes. Listen, I don't know what these guys are saying. They like it. This guy was the most boring, terminal guy that I ever listened to, and I listened to a lot of radio.
Okay, so you listened to Bongino's radio debut yesterday.
No, I stayed till the last 15 minutes, and I said, "What the H am I doing here? Let me get over and get the Hannity," which I liked a lot.
Really?
Right, what you guys think. So no, he was first of all, he was trying too hard. Second of all, he was just trying to cutie with the little sayings and whatever honestly he had to do was just boring. He was just boring.
Boring.
The future. If he's the future of of the party or MAGA or whatever, we're in big trouble.
Well, that's interesting because boring. That's that. Let me tell you, that is the worst word you can use to describe a radio show. It is. It's the worst thing you can say about a radio show.
The worst thing, because you right away you tune off. I'm not listening to this crap.
I mean, when there are people you listen to, like a lot of you don't like me, right? But it's one thing. Like I don't like Ben Shapiro, but he's not boring. I wouldn't say he's boring. He's annoying.
No, he's not boring, but he's a loudmouth jerk.
Annoying, yes. He's an unlikable, annoying jerk.
I don't like Shapiro at all. No.
What do you think about his interview with President Trump?
I didn't hear that part. I walked away from the radio for a minute.
No, I know who you are. You're an old radio listener. You listen to a lot of talk radio, so your opinion is of a educated listener. So I'll take. Yeah.
I listen. You do it on the air, professional. I'm a listener on the air. I go another station to another station.
Well, I'm not going to judge by the first day. But, listen a couple more times, give him a week or two, and then listen to a show, and then call and tell me what you think after like a week.
Shots, absolutely.
But, he's probably what I heard yesterday with Bongino, and again, when I'm listening to talk radio, I can see what's going on, and I think because he's been doing his podcast for about 5 years, and it's very, very good, and he does a good job on the podcast. Podcast is different than radio. My podcast is different than this because the podcast listenership is a different. Like I give you an example, 99% of people listen to a podcast in their earbuds. So you got to keep like Michael Savage. He's doing his podcast like his radio show. You can't talk that loud and yell when people are listening in their earbuds. In their ear, but that's just a minor technical thing. But because he hasn't done live call-in radio, it's a different format. It's like TV and radio are different, and he has some people telling him how to do a talk radio show, and instead of him going in there and saying Bongino, do what it is Bongino does, he's got people, probably consultants. But he's got people telling him how you do a radio show, and instead of him going in there freeform like that, he's got all these things, and the people that are telling him how to do a radio show don't know how to do a radio show. I can tell by that. So that's what I think I heard yesterday. I haven't heard Bongino's show yet, even though I heard the show yesterday. I heard him do like he's got directors telling him what to do. You understand what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, that's a possibility, but...
Steve and I were at a station with a radio consultant. Oh my gosh. Radio consultant's never been on the air. Never been on the air, never done a show, and they're telling you how to do a talk show. Cracks me up.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, when I go and go do some of the reviews, I don't do it. People tell me what the review said. If they knock them, I make sure I see it, because usually they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, the critics are failed writers. They can't sell a screenplay, so they hate on everybody else's.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when Steve gives me criticism or advice or something, he's been there. He's there. He knows what he's got the experience. But when I listened to that show yesterday, he was awkward. And he was not his normal self, Dan Bongino, that I've listened to all these years on his podcast. And I'm telling you, he has people telling him how to do a radio show. And when you hire somebody, especially at that level, you hire them because what they're doing is so good, and you just turn them loose. You just turn him loose. He's got that's it, and they're not doing that. So none of us have really heard Bongino yet on his show. But hey, listen, I got to run. But thanks for the call. We'll take a quick break. Come back with the Gold Report right after this. I'm Brian. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this.
Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the MyPillow slippers, and Mike Lindell, he's right. These are the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn. And you can get them for 40% off at MyPillow.com with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the MyPillow My Slippers.
Brian, I have
Hey there, hold on.
MyPillow slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur-lined one.
Oh, the slip-on fur-lined ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy and what are the symptoms?
Well, the nerves in your feet start going bad, and it affects your balance, and it's painful.
So
Someone says, I don't believe you've listened to his show for tears. I mean, no, I don't listen to Bongino every day or anything, but when I'll drive up to Orlando on the weekends. I'll listen to him on the way up in the morning when I drive up to Orlando, and that's like a 2.5, 3 hour drive. So I'll listen to a couple episodes, and I'll listen on the way back. You know, like if I'm on a drive in the car, I'll listen to Bongino's podcast. Yeah.
Oh man, I know they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, 40% off the MyPillow slippers, 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free MyPillows with it. So it's great. Well, that's awesome. Order your MyPillow My Slippers 40% off.
I don't listen to a lot of shows because I don't want to do what they're doing. Like if I listen to too many shows all the time, I'll start doing on the air what they're doing or talking about what they're doing. It impacts what I'm doing, you know. All right, and it's that time we look forward to every morning with the Precious Metals Gold Report with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca Raton. Good morning, William Youngerman.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing better than the Bitcoin people are doing today.
Gold continues to be a safe haven as even Bitcoin people have been running into it and getting rid of Bitcoin. So the markets have been very stable, gold around that 1880 level, finding good support around there, resistance at 1900. Yesterday we saw gold close down just 20 cents at $1,880.50 the ounce, while silver was up 22 cents at $27.75. Platinum at $8 at $1,170, and palladium down $48 at $2,636. Rhodium, that some of our clients bought back when it was a couple $1,000 an ounce, lost $4,500 yesterday. Rhodium got up to about $25,000 an ounce recently. It's been giving back some of the huge gains and is at $19,000. This morning we see gold up about $2.80 at $1,883.30 the ounce. Silver down 13 cents at $27.62, while platinum is up $14 at $1,184. Palladium is up $14 at $2,650. U.S. dollar low this morning at indexed at 89.65, and Bitcoin around $37,000, down about 5%. Pretty much where we are coming off this Tuesday.
Yeah, and you know, there's nothing against Bitcoin because I know a lot of you guys are into Bitcoin that are also into the metals, but I think it really shows you why the metals are so great. You know, gold's been a valuable commodity for 5,000 years. And not some fly-by-night thing like all these different cryptocurrencies, you know. And I don't know how many of you have not held a gold coin in your hand, but you should. It's heavy, isn't it, William Youngerman? That ounce of gold. I mean, you really feel it, and you feel the value when it. Listen, William Youngerman is open weekdays at 10. You can stop right in. Located right here in Boca Raton at 150 East Palmetto Park Road, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. The website, williamyoungerman.com, and you can give them a call, 800-327-5010. 800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care, take care. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Cut you off. Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, hi.
Pamela, 499 Super Chat. Thank you. Everyone, thank Pamela.
I heard you talking about Marjorie Green.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, yes.
Yeah, and you keep talking about how she never said the word Jewish space laser.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, no, she did not say the phrase Jewish space laser. But she did talk about space lasers.
Mm-hmm.
talking about the Rothschild company
Mm-hmm.
Facebook post. And you know what that means, right?
You tell me.
Well, I mean, you know history. You know the hundreds of years of history related to the phrase Rothschild.
Well, you tell me what does it mean. You tell me what it means, and then I'll respond.
For several centuries, the Rothschild family in Europe was used as this kind of...
I don't need the history. We know the history. Did Marjorie Taylor Greene say Jewish space lasers?
She didn't say the word...
She didn't say it.
She said Rothschild made space lasers.
She talked about, and I could pull up the post, but I'm running short on time. We're at the end of the show. But she talked about some things. She never said the phrase Jewish space lasers. Just like... Well, that's not the... Okay. Does that mean she said Rothschilds, and she made a negative comment about the Rothschilds? Does that mean she's an anti-Semite? I know what it means to you, but does that mean she's an anti-Semite? Oh, okay. A little while ago, I was talking about Ben Shapiro. I said that I don't like Ben Shapiro. Am I an anti-Semite?
I heard you say that, and the witness said it made me wonder.
Oh, then you're paranoid. No. Everybody uses money, not just Jews. I see your mind goes in the gutter. You know what you remind me of? You remind me of when President Trump was talking about Megyn Kelly, and they said he was bleeding from her ears and everywhere, and everybody said, oh, he's talking about her menstrual cycle, and President Trump said, let me finish and then I'll respond. And then he said, that's their dirty mind. There's a common phrase that's used by a lot of people, that people's ears and eyes are bleeding. He didn't say anything about her menstrual cycle. That's where paranoid, dirty-minded people went. I don't like Ben Shapiro because he's an unlikable jerk. It's nothing with him being a Jew. That doesn't make me an anti-Semite. You're paranoid. Like are you? If someone doesn't like you, it's not because you're Jewish. It's because they don't like you. I know what you say it means. It doesn't mean it didn't say Jewish. By the way, what is anti-Semitic about it? She didn't say Jewish space lasers, and she's being credited with saying this, even though she didn't. Saying Jewish space lasers is not anti-Semitic either. Like for example, when Israel was being attacked by the Democrat friends last week, the friends of the Democrats, Hamas, right? And they were protecting themselves with the Iron Dome. If people said Jewish rockets protecting Israel in the Iron Dome, that's not anti-Semitic. See, you're paranoid. You know what you're like? You're like Jerry Seinfeld's uncle. What was his name? Everything's anti-Semitic to you. It's true. You think when I said that I don't like Ben Shapiro, you said the way I said it sounded anti-Semitic. You told me that's insane.
I said it made me wonder.
Because you're paranoid.
His money and stuff. You see it? Yeah, it was a weird thing to say about he bought his job.
Because he has no talent and he's very wealthy.
He's a very popular figure.
Steve Kane's a Jew. How can I be anti-Semitic? One of my good friends, Ian, who's our travel agent for the cruise, he's a Jew. He was in the Israeli army. That's a stupid thing. You're paranoid.
Black friends. I have black friends. Oh, I got black.
Well, I have a black daughter. Yeah, I have a black daughter. Yeah. You want to call me racist too?
Saying.
No, I don't know what you're saying. I don't even think you know what you're saying.
Okay, Brian.
No, tell me. I mean, think about what you're saying. I was talking earlier to Maria, who's a black conservative, and she was talking about Trump to her liberal sister, and she said her liberal sister said to her, "You're racist." Right? She's black. Her sister's black. She's defending Trump to her liberal sister, and she said, "You're racist," and Trump's a racist. And this was earlier in the show, is Marie here in Florida, and I said to her, your sister, she uses that, she thinks everything's racist, doesn't she? And she said yes. You think everything is anti-Semitic.
Coming from the Rothschild Company, it is clear what that means.
But criticizing Ben Shapiro is anti-Semitism to you.
The way you said it. I'm not.
By the way, I said it. Well, listen, I gotta run. But on that note, think about yourself and call me another time. But I'm out of time to talk to you. I've got to talk to Richard Pearl. By the way, next week, what day next week does your show move to noon, Richard Pearl?
I think it's going to be Tuesday. I have to make sure, but Tuesday is the 1st.
Yeah.
And Monday is May 31st. So I might be doing 9 a.m. on Monday and 12 o'clock on Tuesday, which actually is good because then I can say, hey, remember tomorrow.
Yeah, and I've got, well, I'm going to start this next week, but I've got that, I made that great promo for you a while back for your noontime show, and then you switch time slots. So I'm going to start that on, I guess on Tuesday, I'll start the new promo for the Richard Pearl show. Richard Pearl on Politics is moving to high noon weekdays on this radio station, and the 1st is Tuesday, so we're assuming it's going to be Tuesday next week, a week from today. Correct. So Richard gets to, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So what do you have for us today, Richard Pearl? Yep. You know what I'm interested in, something you've been talking about that everyone's reporting now, and you were talking about this over a year ago, is the Wuhan lab. Yeah. I don't know why the media all of a sudden are going public with this. It's a little strange all of a sudden. Yeah. Yeah. It looks like they're getting ready to drop Fauci. Bill Gates is already out with his marital problems, and Fauci, it looks like the left are getting ready to blame everything on Fauci. Now listen, Richard Pearl, his radio show is right up after us today, but next week moving to high noon, his store Simply Natural, located in Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University, open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. And the number, 954-741-4045. Have a great show, Richard Pearl. We'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care. We're out of time for today. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 a.m.
96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hey guys, listen, everyone that's new, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've not already subscribed, please do. I put content up here all the time. I also upload my podcast here, I vlog, and we live stream the radio show every morning from 6 until 9 a.m. Monday through Friday with all the live calls on the air. I wish that last caller would have called in like a few minutes earlier so I could have really had a discussion with him, but hopefully he'll call back another day, and we will. And before you go, everyone, do me a favor, like the video. That helps a lot. Liking the video helps get this video recommended through the YouTube algorithm to other people that like this kind of content and think like we do. All right? I got to run, guys. I got an appointment I got to get to real quick, but I'll see you later. Thanks for watching, everyone.